Monday. Welcome to Midnight's Edge in the morning. I feel like Chris Gore feels today, and I didn't even go anywhere.
Well, yeah, Tom.
As long as you don't look like him.
I wish I looked like Chris Gore. I would take that in a heartbeat. He's a sexy man. How you doing, Chris Gore?
I'm doing good. I'm a little rough from Dallas this past weekend. It was the FNT meetup. Culture Casino was there. It was a blast, and I just want to thank everybody who came out. It was really fun to just meet fans face to face, and as we were talking about even before the stream, I don't know who, Bucky 69 is, but I can't connect a face with a username, but if you tell me who you are, we probably chatted, during a show, or I've read some of your chat comments and questions. And so it's just good to connect faces with usernames, so to speak. And it was super fun, but I think I drank every free drink that was bought for me out of respect. I would like you to know, but wow. So I'm in recovery, and so just thank you to everyone. And I'm happy to be here, as rough as I sound.
Well, we're glad to have you here, and you sound like Indiana Jones, which is kind of ironic since you got to see the film and you're going to tell us a little bit about it today.
No, I'm seeing it Wednesday.
Oh, you're saing it Wednesday. I thought you said you saw it
Yeah,
already.
seeing it Wednesday. But what's weird is how early they're screening it. I have a theory. We can talk about it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
If you want to discuss it. Yeah.
Sure. No, I mean, I've already technically seen it myself.
Well,
all the leaks. I mean, we know so much about it. It's kind of like the Flash movie this week. It's like, I know everything that's in it. What's the point?
Yeah.
But we have some other. Oh, are you? Okay. Well, yeah. I got to try and see if I can get to it. We have other guests with us who come in here at the last minute. He has an excellent T-shirt on. Mr. Call Me Chato. How you doing?
Yes, I'm not wearing my merch at all.
There's nothing wrong with
that. We're going to play this game, Chato? We're going to play this game? All right. I'm ready for you today, buddy.
Okay.
What we got here, buddy?
Midnight's Edge merch.
He's wearing pants. Holy crap.
Merch wars. Nice.
Oh, shit.
You can get your Midnight's Edge shirt.
There you go.
At the link in the description.
Is my camera working? Did it stop?
It was. Now it quit.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not a YouTuber.
I think you pulled out the cord there, Mikey. That, of course, is Mexican Iron Man. How you doing, Mikey?
Not a YouTuber. Yeah.
It doesn't take much. It really does not take much to be a YouTuber.
You keep saying this word, but I don't think you know what it means.
Why is that? Okay. I'm filing a report with HR. That's harassment.
You go right ahead. And HR would probably be either Six or Andre. So Six, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I had a heck of a work weekend. I picked up some extra hours trying to schmooze my management into giving me Thursday off so I can go see The Flash. It was a success, so I'm very much looking forward to the popcorn that I will be eating.
Six, what time are you seeing your movie? Let's do it like we did last time. Let's see it at the same time.
3 o'clock?
Me too. Mine's at 3:15.
Mine's supposed to be at 3 if I can get there, but that'd be 3 Central Time. So
you better get there.
I'm gonna try. I don't have a vehicle. It's gonna be difficult to walk.
I made a mistake and arranged a dinner with a friend I haven't seen in 20 years. Maybe I should cancel it just to see the Flash.
Yeah, you should cancel that just to see the Flash.
Yeah, if he's a friend, he'll understand.
Yeah, that's right. No, actually, you're probably the only one who has something to do worthwhile, it sounds like, Paul.
He's actually an ex Marvel and DC comic book artist. He's a pretty
interesting. No, actually, that would be
going to know his name then if you were.
I'm not telling you the name. Nope.
No, that's what I said. If you were behind the scenes or something, obviously not on stream.
Hint. No, I'm just kidding. No, but that's actually probably infinitely more interesting, probably than the Flash movie could be.
Yeah, we had a great time when we were at school together, and I haven't seen him in a long time. So, and he's he's a very talented person.
And if he was active when I think he was, we're probably big fans of his.
Oh, more than likely.
Yeah.
Well, we have a few more guests with us. We also have Culture Casino. How you doing in the middle square?
I'm doing great. I'm in much better
Paul
shape.
Lynn today.
I am. Thank you. No, but I feel like I'm in much better shape than Frank Gore is right now. Yeah, and even though we went to the same event, and I got every time I hang out with Chris, it's fantastic. We didn't get to talk very much this time. I was hoping for more, but at least you didn't have to sit bare leg to bare leg with Ryan Cannell at the.
It was so funny. I looked at how uncomfortable they were on the couch when we were doing that episode of FNT. Luckily, I sat on the couch last and sort of found a spot. But yeah, I took a photo, like their legs were just like because there was no room the way that their setup was. It was actually kind of funny. But some breaking interesting news. The ISOM 2 trailer came out on Young Rip of 59's channel. Oh my God, this looks amazing.
It does.
He did an animation of ISOM 2, and I just tried to go to the ripperverse.com website. You can't get to it.
Oh,
it's just
overloaded.
Too much traffic. I mean that's a good thing, right? But ripperverse.com, but the ISOM 2, I don't know if you want to do a react to it based on how much news we have to get through, but I just watched it with no sound. Holy cow, it looks amazing.
Well, maybe we'll have to check it out today. In fact, I just emailed one of Eric's people earlier because we're trying to get him on here. So
it's on his YouTube channel. I mean, he didn't say that this was going to happen. Not an animated trailer. It looks really good.
Cool. We also have joining us the boss man, Andre. How you doing this morning?
Well, greetings everyone. I'm doing good. I've had quite a busy morning already, publishing videos and what have you, which of course was a group effort to get made between both you and Pablo.
Honestly, I think I did the least of all the videos on this one. Like, I'll fully admit it.
Yeah, Pablo, he pulled out all the stops though.
Yeah, totally. All credit goes to you and Pablo on this one. All I did was hand it off, basically, in this case. But I started watching it this morning. I saw an earlier version of it, but no, and it's an excellent video. Too bad the algorithm is caught up with the ESG stuff. It looks like.
It does seem like it because it's absolutely tanking in views, which is why we ask you all to help share it. So if you haven't seen the video that we dropped earlier this morning, then feel free to check it out after the stream, or even open it to a different window and check it out right away. Help share it or something.
And I got to tell you, it is absolutely fantastic. It is intelligent. It's well done. It's whether you've got a PhD or a GED, Andre lays it out. It is incredibly. It is. You've done some amazing videos over the years, but this clearly has gotten in my top 5 all time. It is that good. And listen, if anybody's out there catching the show on the replay or you're out there live, take a second, open up another window, click on that video, share it somewhere. It can be Facebook, it can be Twitter, it can be anywhere, because YouTube loves that, and we really could use the help. But great job, bravo, Andre. It's incredibly well done of a topic that's incredibly complex.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it is a complex topic, and that's why there's like some people that react to. Actually, I'm surprised that not more react to like the degree of repetition from earlier videos. But I just know that every single video is someone's first video, which is why every single video has to be able to stand on its own, especially when it's a topic as complex as this, which I do try to make clear, graspable, and understandable.
Mm. Well, and like I said, I knew sooner or later they'd catch up with us. Sooner or later, they're like, you can't be talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
You're going to give away all the secrets, like the secret recipe in the chicken.
We've been trying to be delicate about exactly what we are saying and how far we go. So yeah.
That's why it's good that Andre writes these videos, because if Tom did them, it'd be like, they fucking with us all.
Yeah, that's the breakdown.
That's how the shit would start out. It'd be just like, look, this shit's fucked up. This is what they're doing.
Well, and Andre is very precise, and everything that he's working through is publicly available information. You just have to dive into it. So
yeah, it's all out there. It's just difficult to if you do that dive on your own, it's difficult to put it all together into the larger scheme of things, because you find like, one piece there and one piece there and one piece there, but what's lacking is all the connective tissue with how it works together. And that's what we are trying to do here from the entertainment perspective, at the very least. Like, if you wonder, why is all our entertainment so incredibly woke all of a sudden? Well, these videos, they do explain why, and try to do it in an integrated way as much as possible, that I feel that we can do within the confines of YouTube. And hopefully we have stayed inside of the limit there. I think so. So hopefully views will pick up. If they don't, well, yeah, we'll see how other videos will do.
I just realized I'm President Nacho from Idiocracy. Shit's bad. Shit's bad, y'all.
But
we got
actually,
some super chats. That's a good thing.
Yeah, we even got some super chats on that video, which is what I thought we could.
So let's do those first. Yes, let's cover those first.
So on that video, let's see if I can find it here. On that video, we actually got a member badge from May the Schwartz be with you, and we got a $2 super chat from Nikki D. So if you're watching, thank you so much for supporting us in that video earlier today. I would say I was quite happy that it was. Like, I'm not happy about all the stuff that's going on, but given that it is going on, I was grateful for the opportunity to include an underseen Bespinov clip in there, which I think it's important to just everyone understand the legitimacy of all of these rating organizations who voted them in. That's
they're proliferating. I didn't know it was a Canadian thing, but I saw on the Rogers, that's one of our telecom giants up here in Canada, on their investor page, they are proud ESG members now.
Yeah. Oh, lovely.
Yeah. So I look forward to listening to your video. I was rushing to get mine out, Andre.
Yeah. Well, here's like the thing, that the ESG thing is getting more and more prevalent, and it has, in a sense, reached critical mass. Which is why I think that now we can talk about, like, all-time listeners. They will know that we have been cryptic in the past about, like, well, there's like some investors who aren't necessarily looking for a return on their investment that are calling for this. All of this is funded, is what we've been saying for years.
Yeah, we've hinted at
it. Very coy about why, and that we still are, by the way. We still are that. But now, at least, I think we can talk a little bit more openly about why is still verboten, but how is something that is now sufficiently out there that we can talk a little bit about it.
And we know for sure and for certain that it's so unpopular that they just had to provide full-blown security for Mr. Fink.
Oh, poor him. I feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
He's the head of BlackRock.
Yes. The head of BlackRock, yeah. He
had that wonderful speech.
Yeah. Which one? Man. He's had so many. The one about forcing companies in certain directions. That one, you mean? Or
that one.
Or the one where he said that you're not going to get €1 in business unless you do as we say.
I didn't hear.
These guys are terrorists.
I did hear about him coating goldfish in chocolate and eating them live, but that's just a rumor. I don't want to get you in trouble, Andre.
Yeah, no, I think we can do that perfectly well on our own. So.
Before we go too far, though, I got to ask Mikey about something. What were you doing this weekend, Mikey? Hello, Mike.
Never admit to anything.
You mean on Saturday or Sunday?
Any of those days.
So
Saturday, eventful happening?
Saturday, I was in Georgia at a tactical advanced carbine training.
Oh, that makes perfect sense why there's a gun here, but you got your underwear on backwards.
What is it? This is not me. I'm not.
Her husband came home early, evidently. I mean,
Andre,
you must have been at the same gun show, I guess.
No.
I got photo evidence.
We'll add the community note later on, same as we always do.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, Andre. Strangely enough, I've had a hard time finding those community notes.
Oh, they get deleted.
You two must be suppressing them, huh?
What's
that
with
was courtesy of Gumby Swan.
What's with the car auction stuff, Mike?
The car auction? What?
You said you were learning how to buy cars or something?
No, I'm at a tactical advanced carbine, like tactical weapons training. I'm a big tactical weapons guy.
Yeah, that sounds like something Clark Kent.
Let's just put it this way. Let's just put it this way. When the zombie apocalypse happens or the aliens attack, you want to be on Hilton Head Island with Mexican Iron Man.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine.
He even trains Bambino how to use a gun.
No,
Bambino even has a tactical canine vest.
Yeah, we just saw the our 1970 Datsun 240Z finally restored and completed.
Bro, I'm so
I saw
excited.
you sharing pictures out there.
I'm
yeah.
so excited for you, Paul. My first car was a 280ZX.
Yeah. So that's about 6 years later. Yeah.
Yeah,
nice,
dude.
nice
that is. I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited.
Yeah, not a stitch of rust left on it, and now we have to finish it off. But it's very exciting. It's fun. It's a nice car. So, but this isn't the car channel. I keep trying to remind myself.
Oh, we are. I feel that we are a little bit of many different things.
Well, that's actually the theme of the video I just did. It's one of the things I realized that all these companies with these properties are so focused on the properties themselves without realizing that fans actually have a universe of interests, and we are not just the one interest that they piss on, but we have so many a universe of interests that we share, and we don't talk about those. We talk about them when we're on shows like this, just naturally, like we talk about anime or whatever. But those are, I realized, are just as important. Those peripheral passions are just as important as the specific things that we talk about. So that's what my video is about.
Cool. Well, let's keep going with these super chats because we got some stuff to talk about today in the show. Let's start off here with Shadow Answer the Red Mage, who said, I saw Transformers Beasts entertaining but needs Beast Wars machines for full context. At least Transformers is written for us 50-somethings. Well, I know at least a couple people have seen the movie,
exactly.
Frank Gore being one of them and Andre being the other.
Yeah.
So what did you guys think of the film?
I already gave my review, and I thought it was fine. It was entertaining, but I felt it needed another rewrite. It wasn't all it could be, and I wasn't a big fan of like the anti-white messaging in it. But other than that, excited about the opportunities of this being a sequel to Bumblebee, which retroactively is a complete reboot. So this is now movie number 2, and not the prequel to the Bayverse. So yeah, excited to see where things will go. Mr. Gore, how about you? What did you think about Transformers: Rise of the Beasts?
It was fine. The stuff with the humans I thought was irritating. That every key to every task that needed to be accomplished was totally dependent on this annoying intern who was the bestest ever at everything. She was smarter than everybody in the room. And just after a while, that just gets tired. It's just, and then, so that was annoying. And then, but I actually like the Maximals. And I thought that the Transformer stuff was very well directed in terms of the action. I thought previous Transformers films have been overly complex and whatnot. I thought that, you get a good sense of the geography, what the goal is, what each, each of the Transformers abilities are. So I wish they would just make a Transformers movie with no humans, maybe just make a cosmic version, go off into the galaxy. No,
War on Cybertron.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? It's so simple. Just do that. Like, humans seem so fragile. It's a miracle that they don't get smushed or crushed or destroyed.
Kind of the same problem I have with Godzilla movies, basically. Yeah.
Exactly. It depends on what era of Godzilla you're talking about. Where Godzilla.
Well, the more recent films up until King Kong versus Godzilla, where they constantly just have barrages of stupid humans. It's like, just no. All you need is a little deaf girl for King Kong to fight over. That's all you need.
Well, I actually like Shin Godzilla, but that's Japanese. So.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of that film is all about how the government handles it. That's a whole nother conversation.
It is. I love that film. But this you mentioned something really briefly, Andre, that I think is worth noting, which is the anti-white. I don't know if it's so anti-white as it's lazy. And it did annoy me. It's just like, wait a sec, every white person in this is just an asshole. Like, her boss at the beginning in the museum, you know, where her boss kind of takes credit for her, the lead character, who's just, why did they hire a woman who can't run to run a lot in a movie? It was sort of embarrassing.
Oh, that's that thing right there. Oh, that was not.
Well,
laziness.
it's
that was
kind of like, why would you hire
anti-wrestling.
Ezra Miller as the Flash when he runs like he does?
Well, yeah, a whole other thing. But what annoys me is this, and this is what I'll say on that, because it's you do notice it. It's like, oh wow, every white person is just a jerk or an a-hole, and I look at it as, you know, it's not as if in the past there's a movie by Robert Townsend called Hollywood Shuffle, you might remember, and it's about, he's a black actor. It's a comedy, and it's a black actor trying to make it in Hollywood, but he's just, you know, he's always cast as like a criminal or a hood or a, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's a real thing. That was a cliche in mainstream Hollywood movies. It was a cliche that, you know, POC. I hate that term POC. I hate all this language that we've invented recently. But you would have like black or Latino actors that were used in ways like always the same, right? It was just like, I mean, how many movies had a black female judge? There are many. But so we've replaced old bad tropes, because those were bad tropes, with new bad tropes. All of those tropes are bad. The ones in the past, and this in this film. So I don't know how we just can't have balance. I don't know how you can't have just, you know, but it did stand out to me. I just thought the movie was fine. The human people were just made it dumb, and it was annoying. And overall, I really just didn't. I just didn't care. I think Bumblebee and the first Transformers are still the best of the series. I am interested to see, and is this a spoiler? It's pretty much everyone knows what happens at the very end. You could have even predicted it. So spoiler, 3, 2, 1, cover your ears. The G.I. Joe and Transformers franchises will now be merged, it appears. Yeah, so you see the Noah Diaz, which is the name of the lead character in it. Well, I actually thought he was very good. He was the best in the film. But there's just sort of like other things, like there's a mention of capitalism, and then there's, you know, it's like, why does this keep coming up like in films? Why? And then also, like, one of the characters has a Latin accent, and then Noah asks, "Oh, do you speak Spanish?" And then the character says, "That's racist." What is the name of that character?
Why would you say it's racist?
Yeah, well, it's cringe. So the humor just doesn't land in the movie. So I was entertained by the Transformers stuff without the people, I thought was like, oh, that's, you know, they're trying something. How about just
I mean, it's a dumb ask, if for no other reason. If I encounter another Hungarian person, I immediately just flip into Hungarian. Beszélsz magyarul?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't ask, are you Hungarian?
Right.
It was like, that's stupid. Weird. That's completely stupid.
And also, it's sort of like my whole thing of like, why does a robot from the future have an Austrian accent? You know, referencing the Terminator there. Like, it's just, it's weird. Like, it's strange. So I don't know. I just, these movies are dumb. They're cartoons that are made into live action. I wasn't particularly invested in it. Take it or leave it. It was the big movie that opened at the theater, so I saw it. But that thing that you pointed out, Andre, very true, very noticeable, and it's just replacing old bad tropes with new bad tropes.
Yep.
The white people are all assholes, and it's like, this is not serving society, I think, in a positive way. And I think at a certain point people are just sick of it, and it is a turnoff. It's a real turnoff. You can have lots of good people and lots of bad people of all types. Nobody cares. But when it's really,
wasn't it written by the person who wrote Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Disney Plus series?
Yeah, no Mario Puzo there. I'll just say
why is he getting work?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But
well, to be fair, he would have gotten this work before
maybe
that Star Wars series came out, and they knew
that's
how
entirely
bad it was
possible,
going to be.
So how is this box office? Is this good? 60 million?
Yeah, let's get into that. The movie opened to 60 million domestically, which I hear the trades say is good, but honestly, to me, that's not setting the box office alight.
It did beat Spider-Man.
Barely.
Spider-Man was in its second week.
Yeah, that's surprising. I'm actually surprised it beat Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: we got, Spider-Man. I was surprised it had a big opening weekend. I'm surprised it had this much of a hold, because this movie's already almost grossed as much as the last one at this point. Well, not quite, but over half of what the last one had done in its full run. So, I mean, Spider-Verse and Mario are the only two movies that anybody can write home about this year, which is kind of sad. Look at this. I mean, because we were talking last week about all these movies, these big movies that are looking at opening to $60 million weekends, and here we're looking at Transformers doing exactly that. How sad is that? A movie that should be busting the 80 to 100 million or better, can't even do that anymore. Culture, I mean, this is a sad year for the box office. This is stuff you usually follow the most. This is not looking good for Indiana Jones and Flash either, if you ask me.
No, I actually got a video coming out about that either later today or early tomorrow. Once Grant gets it out there, but I've said this before. I'll say it again. I don't believe, and this is a terrible time for it to happen. I don't believe Disney's going to have any profit at the box office this year. I don't believe they'll have a profitable film this year. I think the closest they'll get to it is the film they already released, Guardians of the Galaxy, under their Marvel brand. But it's not just them. All of these entities are struggling outside of perhaps obviously Sony's success recently, but they had some films earlier in the year that just didn't perform well. You really are seeing people walking away from cinema experiences, and it's not because they don't want to go. There are films out there that prove they do. Avatar, The Way of Water, obviously, and then prior to that, you saw, or after that, you saw the Mario film. Prior to those two, you saw Top Gun Maverick. The problem is that they are not connecting with their audience. They don't understand the people that they're trying to sell their product to. And, that can be reflected in various ways in other industries. I mean, you guys have been covering the things that also aren't landing with audiences, whether it be beer or a particular department store, or anything like that. All of these things have one thing in common. They're compromised. They are no longer of value to people because they no longer connect with people. And I think, Transformers Rise of the Beast is going to be a film that is likely to underperform what they were hoping for here domestically. But these films always do rather well at the international box office. So we'll have to play the wait and see. That's it.
Can I add one thing? Let me add one thing.
Absolutely.
These things, the window has shrunk dramatically with when you can see them in the they call it in theaters at home. You can watch Fast X at home right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was just out a few weeks ago. Yep. How is this? I mean, the window used to be it's 45 days. Now it's 2 or 3 weeks.
It's 35 days now. Yeah.
Yeah. And when it comes to indie movies, those are almost usually day and date. They do a limited theatrical as a way to kind of push it. And then generally a week later, it's on video on demand. I'm talking about movies like the Angry Black Girl and Her Monster, which is a modern telling of Frankenstein. So there you go. A discussion for another time, perhaps. But
we actually were discussing it last night, this very good topic.
Yeah. Interesting. But it's like, the fact that it's like, Fast X is just like right there, it makes it less special. It makes it less that like window, like you can't see it at home. Well, I have to go to a theater. Like they are killing, and I don't even know if the studios care because they get more direct revenue from VOD and whatnot rather than the movie theater where they get 50%.
Yeah, because the way it kind of works now is basically. Now, for instance, Guardians of the Galaxy probably will be one of the few movies that's come out in this summer so far that won't go straight to video on demand in the next few weeks. Because I saw that the video release date is set for August 1st, so that means they're going to stretch that out. The way it works is, though, they have the choice within like 35 days to put the movie on demand. And what they're doing when they do that, Chris, is they're forfeiting a larger amount of the money that's in the theaters. So if you put a movie out there like Fast X, whatever their normal rate would be for the first few weekends, like, it usually starts at like 60-40, then goes down to 50-50 eventually and whatever, and then the theaters start to keep more of the money. Well, if they do that with a movie like Fast X, they're forfeiting that, but then they're gaining that in as far as they see on the other end, because now they're selling it on video on demand. And like you just said, they're getting more of that $24.99 directly from that video on demand than they were the theater tickets.
Yeah.
And they have a popular movie that people just saw in theaters. Now they can see at home. And I think you're right. I think that's killing people's idea that they have to go to the theater to see these movies. They're like, hell with it. I'll just wait a month and see it on video on demand.
Yep, exactly.
I have another thing to throw out there as someone who loves going to the movies and generally goes, I don't know, about 40 times a year, give or take ish. So that's maybe not every week, but 2 out of every 4 weeks out of every month at least. I think for me, what I've noticed since we reopened with COVID, Chris, and I'm not sure what your experience would be being out in LA, but I think for me, I have to make a decision between, it comes down to this, is that how fast what movie do I want to go see at a premium large format theater for that experience versus do I just wait to watch it on my 82-inch screen at home in my living room with surround sound that is super thumpy and bumpy and amazing? And so for me, going to either an IMAX or a 4DX, which is right now my preferred way to see any movie that I really want to see is 4DX by far. I love that. I love it. I love the experience. The problem is, unless I'm in LA or I happen to be near Jacksonville or further up north up the East Coast, I can't. It's like a 2 or 3 hour drive just to do this. But other than that, it's like, I gotta race to the theater because next thing I know, that's what happened with John Wick 4. I didn't make it to see it in the format I wanted, so I was just like, screw it. I'll just see it on my 82-inch screen and surround sound at home.
Yeah, but I think it's bigger than that. I mean, people will go to the theaters.
I think you got 82 because that's what I had. Anyway,
wait, if you have 82, then mine's 80. I remember yours is 2 inches longer. I mean,
is it
wider? I meant.
Sorry, culture. Continue.
Shoot.
I don't remember what I was going to say. I'm flabbergasted.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
No,
Well,
I
go
think,
ahead.
again, my argument returns to what I'd said before. I think you're compelled to go to a theater for a good film. For a bad film, you're not going to go. I mean, I'm suffering from that. I mean, I'm trying to go see movies I know that are trash just so I can do reviews for them to prevent other people from spending their money on them. If I can save people hundreds of dollars a year, I'll take it upon myself to suffer through 2 hours of something that's marginal at best.
You're like my car insurance.
I kind of feel like that. Yeah, to be fair.
Every time a movie comes out, one of the bigger ones that we generally tend to talk about, I ask my coworkers.
Yeah.
Mostly the ones who have children, anywhere from 5 up to teenagers, are you going to go see such and such? And they don't seem to go to the movies for a specific movie. It's more like, well, I have custody of my kids this weekend and they want to go do something and it's going to rain. So we're going to go to a movie or, we're celebrating their last week of school. So I'm going to take them out to a movie. So it doesn't seem to be that they're going to a movie specifically for that, what's on the screen. It's more of just an event of going to a movie. And that's why they're going to the theater. Mm. And when I asked them about, a friend of mine, her son is a big Transformers fan. And I said, are you going to take him to the Transformers movie? And he said, he's so excited about it, but he wants to go to, little Billy's birthday party that weekend. And then it's going to come out on streaming in a few weeks. So he said he's fine just waiting. He doesn't have to see the opening. And he's a huge Transformers fan because they know it's going to come out. He can sit at home and watch it on TV soon.
Again, streaming has destroyed Hollywood. And they stupidly rushed into it against what should have been their better judgment.
Well, and going off of the first part of what Six was saying, that goes along with what I've said time and time again. Going to the movies is one of the few things a family can do that's still affordable compared to going to a concert or going to a sports event or anything like that. There's no comparison. Even going out to eat can be more expensive in some cases, depending on where you go, especially if you have a family. So going to the movie is one of the few affordable things there is. But I mean, at the same time, when you could just stay home, wait 35 days, pay $24.99 to see it at home instead of spending $60, $80 to $100 at the theater, depending on how many kids you got. Yeah, it makes economical sense to do it that way. And it's at the end of the day, I don't see them making as much money though, because we've talked about this time and time again, going off of what you've said before, Culture and myself, about how the secondary market has just been destroyed by this. I mean, sure, they're getting this revenue up front from the video on demand, but this is the kind of revenue and time they would be getting, the HBO money, or the it'd just be hitting video after 6 months and stuff like that, or the video on demand when they used to do it to where it was just pay-per-view, where you couldn't own it at the same time.
And that's where Chris is right. But the companies that experimented with this, and I think Chris will agree, when HBO, the Project Popcorn with Warner, right under what was his name? He had a very destructive name. Anyway,
I know what you're talking about too, and I can't think of it.
Yeah. Anyway, he actually came up with that idea, and Disney experimented with it on two films. Killar, yeah, there he was. He killed a lot of things. But with that Project Popcorn idea, you ended up with, no profit, despite the fact that that was the whole point. That direct revenue stream that Chris was mentioning, they get a bigger cut of it, but it's a smaller number of people that are going to see it. Not to mention the fact that their cost to serve it up and deliver it is not exactly cheap, and their infrastructure, particularly with a lot of these streaming services, isn't. They have to scale up to do things like that. There are many other factors that go into that type of thing. I don't see. I don't see how you can walk away from 5 additional revenue streams on your project. I mean, Tom, you and I have talked about it forever. I mean, that goes through so many different things. That's why a lot of these companies are turning back to Netflix, or, hey, you know what? We're going to lease this film to 2 companies at the same time. And, that way we make money off of it. And I'm not going to turn down $100 million for you to stream my movie for 3 months. That'd be dumb.
Yeah. And that's why Sony still has their deal and such. But let's keep moving along here. We've got a member chat from Dark King, who's been a member for 26 months. Thank you so much. I believe this was from the last show. We accidentally missed it. Sorry about that. He asks, are Disney's financials available at all? Interested to know just how many multi-million-dollar flops they can afford before they lay the layoffs. Include everyone other than Iger. Can't talk this morning. Here comes my stutter. Unless ESG cash can cover it. Okay, so this would basically be a better question for like Andre and Mikey.
Yeah, I'll take it. So the financials are available at the Disney Investor Relations shareholder website. You can just go to the Disney website, click on Governance and Investor Relations. All the financials are there per quarter, dating back to way back when. And go ahead and sift through them. There's not a direct way to calculate how many multi-million-dollar flops they can afford. It's more complicated and multidimensional than that. They've got a bunch of things happening at the same time, from park attendance going down, combined with studio revenues, combined with the fact that they're overcommitted on their debt load, combined with the fact that they got HULU arbitration going on in motion. They've just got to figure a lot of stuff out, and they've got about 5.5 months left to do it because the fiscal year ends on September 30th. How was that?
There you go.
That was amazing. And you know what, Mikey, their cash position is terrifying. It has to be. I mean, think about how it cripples them in terms of marketing anything. I mean, whether it be theme parks or films or, Disney Cruise Line or anything. I mean, are you concerned with the viability going forward? Because
no, Disney is too big to fail in the aggregate, but they've just got to figure a lot of crap out. They're too big to fail right now. Now, right. I think I would be if I were prudent, I'd be terrified about Disney's future 5 to 15 years from now, because at that point, then dude, who really let's pretend it's 5 years from now and Universal is open and it's got all of the stuff that it's got, and Mario Brothers is cranking, and the whole new theme park is open for Universal. The train system's coming out that the Disney's not going to be a part of. I can see, and who gives a crap about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? Who really cares about any Disney character? I was in shock the last 18 months as I watched my 8.5-year-old turn into a 10-year-old that not only does not care, but does not even know about it.
Hey, I'm waiting for the new Bugs Life ride at Disney.
Well, yeah.
That's going to be great.
Right.
Are you being serious? A movie that's 20 years old, they're doing a ride for?
No, I'm kidding.
No, Paul's
Okay, I
being
was gonna
funny.
say.
No, he's being funny.
Yeah, but he might not have been. But also,
remember
Mike,
when that was
Disney.
Pixar's disappointment, guys? Not to derail for a second, but remember back in the day when Bug's Life was the low point of Pixar.
Yeah, it was great. We loved that.
I love all these Disney characters. They made me the boy. They brought me thrill and enjoyment as a boy, and I believe in many ways they made me a great man.
Obviously, my joke is that they have no more bullets left in their gun.
Yeah.
No, they have to create some new ones. But also, Mike, I want to ask about one thing, because as the two of us have spoken about before, Hulu, we posted a clip of that discussion over on Midnight's Edge live archives less than 24 hours ago. Hulu, I think, is the really big challenge facing them. Now, you were talking about arbitration. Is that just arbitration about deciding the value? Or is that arbitration about Disney saying we need to get the hell out of this deal, Universal, what you want to get us to let us out?
Well, anything that I've read, and I've tried to read everything on it, is that they are in arbitration about the price, not whether. Because the only public statement that's been made by Bob Iger is that they would most likely do that. Now, when he said most likely, I got to tell you, Andre, my radar went up because that gave him an out. What I would have done to provide investor confidence is say that we will execute it. But because they haven't agreed on price, I can understand that he might be trying to do a little flex with Comcast, even though I don't know what possibly flex there is. Because I think Iger in general and Disney operate as a delusional company a lot of times. But I think that they have no choice but to acquire this thing. If I were Bob, I would try to get out of this deal some way, somehow, but I don't see that that's going to happen in any way, shape, or form. And so the best we can hope for is that Bob's going to get it for $9 to $12 billion. And I think if I were, I had this conversation with VR last night and a couple of people in this chat. I think if what I would do if I were Bob is I would stay in arbitration and I would kick this ball down the road. Even though the put call thing is in January, I would try to just slow my heels and slow my roll, close the financials September 30th as best I can, pray to God the interest rate goes down and doesn't go up. And I would probably, even though I shouldn't do it, I would probably release more treasury stock to get cash and then hope to God I can get this thing for $9 to $11 billion. Hope to God that my cost savings measures would have saved me maybe $1 to $2 billion, sell some stock and then borrow $3 to $8 billion to close the deal. That's what I think he's going to do, because I think his ego is too big to sell anything, even though I think what he should do is start selling pizza. I think the smart CEO should make valuations and go back to the core business, which is being a family-run entertainment company with parks, cruise ships, and family destinations and experience, and get the hell out of all of this Hollywood woke business that clearly they have no rat's ass idea on how to make $1 on in a movie.
You mean he should stop trying to change the world?
Yep.
But it's so important to him.
Oh, yeah. And I think frankly, Bob's little bitter patter with the Florida governor is them playing AAA political baseball because he's pissed off that he's not running for president. So that this is his little, in his mind, his own little mini election that he thinks he's doing against.
That's funny. I was thinking that.
It would be hilarious. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, Tom. I just want to say it would be hilarious if he were to announce his candidacy too, and then you'd have two candidates squaring it off in Florida.
No, I think Mikey's right. There's a multiverse somewhere where our presidential candidates are Bob Iger on the one side, and DeSantis on the other, and he's playing it out now on this smaller platform. But I kind of had a question for you guys. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm sitting back and I'm looking at this. I see how Universal is kind of, jabbing it to Disney a little bit. And I'm curious what Culture thinks about this a little bit too, because I know looks like he had something to say or ask too. But wouldn't it make more financial sense and better sense for Comcast if they were to just say, you know what, fuck it, we're gonna take Hulu and merge it with Peacock? Because where they're sitting right now, that would actually make them a major player in this game.
Oh, immediately.
Hulu, like that to me would make more financial sense for them and get them out there more. I don't know. It just, to me, that I don't know why. I'm sure they've thought about it, but
My concern is this, and I mean, again, it's just because I'm looking at this as somebody who would be very concerned about the future of the survival of the Hulu as a unit. Comcast is already not paying maintenance costs. They're not paying their fair share on this. They've cut it off. They believe they've been wronged by Disney in various ways. They're probably
that is the most important point right there, and I've never mentioned that. And other people aren't talking about it, Andre. What Culture said, let me just draw some dramatic attention to it. Comcast and Disney are in this partnership with Hulu, and Comcast said, I'm not going to subsidize this mofo anymore. Continue on, Culture.
And on top of that, they are in a position where they can take their ball and go home. Now, remember, this was a joint venture between three entities, right? You had Universal, you had Fox, and you had Disney. And I think I'm correct on that, Mike. And the value of Hulu is tied to the content that they have. Well, what if you pull Comcast Universal's material from this platform, you just have Disney stuff again because they bought Fox. And they don't use the Fox stuff. I mean, let's be honest about that. They use very limited amounts of Fox things that they own. And again, that's all tied to, being politically correct or whatever you want to call it, an agenda or whatnot. But Disney doesn't really need all of this redundancy. The fact that we have Disney Plus and Hulu, existing side by side, and of course Disney also invested in a digital platform for ESPN. You don't need these three mega streaming services. There are a ton of redundancies that you could remove by combining them all. And yet they haven't. Well, first of all, because it would obfuscate or make more difficult the Hulu thing. So obviously, when they settle it out, maybe they'll do that. But at the same time, I think Tom, the reason that Universal Comcast isn't moving forward to acquire Hulu or or buy the 2/3 of it that they don't own is for that very same reason.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, because the content is the value of Hulu. And when you remove Fox and Disney content, what do you end up with?
And that takes us back to our original conversation from a few weeks ago, why I said I can't believe that all these companies aren't just basically taking on one of the networks now, because Paramount Plus you can watch CBS on. That's going to help them out. Disney would be smart if they just put ABC streaming on Disney Plus and or Hulu. Same thing with Peacock. I can watch, NBC streaming on Peacock. It's only a matter of time before that's kind of the format.
Well, but they've already cannibalized. And again, this is a revenue conversation now. They've already cannibalized.
Right. And I don't want to get too deep in the weeds. You already answered my question, but yeah.
Yeah, but real quick, and I won't take long to do this. It's a revenue question. They've already cannibalized huge swaths of ads that they could have. They've cannibalized their post box office earnings, which we talked about a few moments ago, but they were already cannibalizing the ad space. So if they were to bring in these networks, now they're cannibalizing another place that they can sell their ads. They can't afford to do that. I agree they could do that, but then you're increasing the price of a streaming service. Well, how many of these things can you afford? Not much. So anyway,
it's too bad because on a creative side, they're throwing away the opportunity to have it named Hoocock.
Let's get into some more. Go ahead,
I saw someone do a meme that was really funny. HBO Max shortened their name to Max. Peacock, your move. So
yeah, I think Peacock responded to that on their Twitter or something like that. Yeah, they had a little tongue-in-cheek joke about it. Yeah, because I think their response is, "We're not changing our name" or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly how they put it. It was kind of funny. But Shadow Dancer, the Red Mage, says Spider-Verse 2 probably beat the floundering mer person overseas because a cartoon POC is not considered an actual POC ? Well, I'm not sure if you're just being facetious here in the question or if it's an actual question. But I did notice that even Twitter has been responding to some of these media outlets trying to claim that people don't go to movies featuring non-white people overseas and correcting them. They've been getting the little, that's not accurate news stuff. Did you guys see that?
I've seen some of it. I've seen all the desperate attempts at trying to
this here. I got an example
to desperately create some kind of blame that or detract from or explain away, rationalize. That's what I
see.
was
Here you go.
for.
Like the Hollywood
Rationalize
Reporter
the fact that
said, the Little
Mermaid is flopping overseas, and Spider-Man or Miles Morales isn't doing as well as it should given the domestic score. But yeah, carry on, Tom.
No, as I was just going to say, here's an example. The Hollywood Reporter says, Little Mermaid both tanks in China and South Korea amid a racist backlash over the casting of Halle Bailey in the role of Ariel, according to THR. Twitter had to fix that with their little flag there, whatever you call it.
Yeah, their community notes.
Yeah, movies starring black leads have performed well in both China and South Korea. For example, Marvel and Disney's own Black Panther grossed over $100 million in China. And yeah, so there you go.
I wanna just add to that community note. This is completely nonsensical as it is. There is no racial backlash against the Little Mermaid internationally. You know what there is? There is indifference. That's what it is. This is a Disney live action remake, and not everyone are as keen on those as you guys in America apparently are, since the movie has now grossed more than 200 million at the domestic box office. Well, if anything, it's overperforming in the US compared to what it should be doing given to how it started.
Let's just say, Andre, we're starting to hear some reports of very similar things like happened with Captain Marvel and Black Panther about tickets that are being bought for empty theaters.
I would not be surprised if that were the case. As I said in the earlier video, the international box office is a little bit more difficult to fortify. That being said, there is a difference between indifference when people look at the movie poster and see, one, I don't care about this, two, that's not the Little Mermaid I remember, and going from there to racist backlash. Those are two very, very different things. And a final thing here, as that community note correctly described, is simply not the case. There's no racist backlash here. It's simply audiences around the world rejecting a Disney movie that Disney probably should never have made in the first place.
Yippers. And that's what I was saying, like, early on. I'm like, when do we reach this point when people realize, hey, we're just getting a bunch of Gus Van Sant psychos over and over and over again? Like, I don't get it. It's nothing new brought to the table. Same old movie. Just fancier packaging. Dr. Longdongler sent us a thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't hit it already. It does deserve it. Gerardo Mora, if I'm saying that right. Gerardo, probably. Thank you for becoming a member. We appreciate that. Zontar says, after 50 years absent, 58 since their last win, Ferrari wins the Sentinel. Did I say that right? Centennial. 24 hours of Le Mans again. Toyota, Cadillac, Porsche, and Puget. Is that how you say that? Peugeot.
Peugeot, yeah.
I don't do cars. I'm not a car dude.
Ugh, you don't even have one.
I know, right? I don't even have one.
How can you be a car guy? Well, that's actually quite the win. I mean, they finally beat Ford. Ferrari finally beat Ford. Although I don't think Ford has been in the most recent Le Mans.
I've seen the movie Ford versus Ferrari, though, if that counts.
Well, that helps.
That's your all the education that you need.
I'm sure.
Well, it's better than nothing. I mean, you at least you have that. Like then there is some kind of race, and it is in France, and there's cars in it.
Yeah, well,
the Batman was in it.
The Fiat Group do need some overall wins. Stellantis, I think, is now the mother corporation. Every major car company is an upheaval. I mean, wow, you want to talk about some problems that are hiding under the surface? Forget about the movie business. Let's get into all the different car manufacturers. There's a lot of things ready to blow up there.
Well, a different channel.
A different channel.
Yeah, but Paul, just real quickly, because it does influence our culture. I mean, you've seen how the Chevy and Ford both have been in such failed mode for future planning that they actually have to sign on to utilize Tesla's vehicle charging network now.
Well, yeah, I mean the sales have plummeted on the Mustang electric.
Yeah,
the Lightning has turned out to be a bit of a dud because Ford's quality has plummeted.
they're a fire starter. Twisted fire
they're a fire starter. So it's yeah, you know what? The American car manufacturers are having a real problem. Although General Motors is having a decent time in China, they might leave the United States just to be a Chinese manufacturer. But yeah, and all these regulations, it's going to be an interesting time, and there's going to be a monster shakeup. I mean, if you're talking about the consolidation of streaming channels, wait for the next consolidation of car manufacturers. It's going to be brutal.
And that, kids, is Midnight Engines.
I like that. Good for you, Tom.
I love that. That'd be great.
All right. Moving on, we got a few more super chats here, and then we got at least a topic or two to get onto before we lose.
It wasn't my fault. What's Zontar brought up cars?
No, it's fine.
It was Zontar's fault.
I just want to get to a few more of these super chats before we get onto some more topics, because we've barely gotten to any of them. So I apologize to everybody in the chat. Shirogami says, Andre, when you research ESG infiltrating East Asia, also follow the trail of Netflix and Amazon money flowing into Korean and Japanese productions.
Yeah.
Well, if we get that deep, yeah.
If we go that deep, I shall keep that in mind. Meanwhile, we have to have our current video do a little bit better. We now have more than 2,000 or almost 2,000 watching, which is awesome. Everyone smash that like, and if you haven't done so already, go check out the ESG video we dropped earlier today, because it's not doing well so far. So yeah, it does need every little bit of sharing and help that it can get at this point.
Tipping Barn says, hola muchachos. Oh, and Culture too. These are his friends.
These are my friends.
Marksman117B said, I bought a CGC grade Ripaverse before site crashed. Nice.
Congratulations, because it is still hopping over there. Holy cow.
Yeah, that's what we're hearing. And we're going to check out that trailer hopefully in a little bit here. But speaking of trailers, we have a sponsor, Andre.
We forgot
to do at the top of the hour. I apologize.
Indeed.
That's my bad for being sick and not thinking.
Yeah, but better late than never. No, because these are trying times, as you can tell from today's video. And we all need to laugh a little bit sometimes. And even some of our magazines that used to be so funny, like Cracked, just ain't that funny anymore. It stopped being that way a long time ago. Luckily, we have someone else who are still funny, namely Flip City. They take everything that's wrong with today, turn it on its head, stick their finger right in its eye, and have fun with it. And you should support that. So
sometimes they stick their finger elsewhere.
Friends, if you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat, because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today.
Thank you once again to our sponsors, Flip City. Do check them out if you haven't had a chance to. They are excellent. But moving on, we have some more super chats here. Let's keep on going. Professor Haitian is a member for 26 months. It says, Andre, I have a theory that ESG is a ploy for those companies to buy out companies they invest in. You see it as well?
They don't have to buy them out. They don't have to actually own them. All they have to do is have those companies be beholden to them, which they can do by using their money. They don't need to actually be invested. And also, if you go and look at the owners of basically every brand that you use, everything that you get in the store, every piece of clothing you wear, everything that you see, everything that you consume, most of these are publicly listed companies. So they're going to have a variety of owners, but you're going to have some of the recurring ones in every single one of them, like State Street, like Vanguard, like BlackRock. Like, for instance, why do you think that Harley Davidson agreed to being sponsored by Dylan Mulvaney? Sorry, by by Bud Light, But it's the same thing by now, isn't it? Harley Davidson agreed to that because they have people on the board that tells them to agree with it. They don't have to own them. They only have to have the company be beholden to them.
Influence
with just having like a sufficient ownership percentage, plus some other carrot and sticks. You don't need any more than that. Or what say you, Culture and Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I always assumed that that's exactly what was happening. Is, you know, they put some leverage there, and they, since they have such influence because of the control of the boards of directors, they're kind of able to get all of their things done, which is how you ended up with you know, a lot of these companies having board members that are completely aligned with these agenda items, including over at Disney as well, with their new Nike leader there in the board. So yeah, there's some very bad things afoot, and Harley Davidson, I believe, made a terrible mistake because, you know, after it was widely known that they were involved in that campaign with Bud Light, their stock started to head downward. So not a great idea.
You know what that was? That was another case of South Park predicting the truth. Remember that episode with all the kids laughing at the bikers, calling them the F word?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. It's like they were looking into the future. They really were. They really
exactly.
were.
Yeah.
That's what humor can do, is look into the future.
Unfortunately, when it's a matter of like looking into a dystopian future, that is not as fun. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Is Mr. Chris Gordon?
No, I mean, that's, you know, humor is easy. I mean, humor is almost as good as sci-fi for doing it. When I was reviewing Apple's virtual reality goggles, the fact that it actually projects your inside eyes to the outside world, I immediately thought of you know, what I call the wife app, where while you're watching a movie or porn or something in your goggles, the eyes are looking at your wife, and there's an automatic voice that goes, yes,
People are going to use that during sex now. Thanks a lot, Paul.
I was thinking of Wall-E and various various stories by Arthur C. Clarke, like The Lion of Kumar and stuff.
Why would you want to make love to Wall-E?
What?
No, I don't think
that's not what I meant. I mean, like I was talking about those fat people lying on the couch,
you're right. The
watching
big
reality TV all day.
The Big and Cell or whatever it was called, yeah.
Exactly.
Before we move on to other things, Vincent DeLeon just sent us a very just sent us a very generous $50 super chat talking about Transformers. So let's do this here. Watch Transformers on opening night. Wasn't impressed. Race baiting dialogue and woke speak. I did like the Hasbro connection at the end. Ironically, the main character Noah was one of the highlights of the movie, minus the PC dialogue, of course. Well, this has kind of been a common thing, especially when we have characters where, you know, this is one of the things with this movie. It sounds like they let the woke in, but we've had a few examples of movies where they have had plenty of diversity in the movie, but they didn't call out the woke in the movie, and people liked the characters just fine. You know, it's kind of the way it works out. It's like, it doesn't matter as long as you make a decent character. That's what people have been saying from all along, right? But yeah, race baiting is more of a thing was like the Little Mermaid. I would say I don't remember being so much with Transformers in the advertising or in the media, but I'm hearing about it in the film itself proper. It sounds like Andre and Chris. So what do you guys say to that?
Oh, first and foremost, thanks for the $50 super chat, and Chris,
amazing.
take it away.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it at the beginning of the show. It is here's the problem that I have with sort of the era that we're in right now. It's like the people that see everything as racist, they have these racist colored glasses. I feel like on the opposite end of that scale is everything is woke. Not everything is woke, right? Like it just isn't. I think that the thing that stood out to me, and I actually didn't, I thought the main character Noah was fine. I thought he had a really good motivation with his young brother who was struggling with disease. So that was very relatable. I thought he was great. I thought the woman was terrible. She was not served well by bad writing, right? Like it's what we were talking about earlier. Like they need to like do a re-release of that movie by Robert Townsend, the Hollywood Shuffle, because it really tells you about. He was an actor at the time. And the thing is this, by the time he got the movie made, things were really changing anyways. But it was about like POC actors being put in stereotypical roles. Well, now we just have the opposite of that. Neither is right? Like two wrongs do not make it right. It just doesn't. So now we're noticing it. It wasn't as preachy or woke as a lot of other things are, but the fact that is every conversation is infected with, well, is the movie woke? Like a lot of things are just sort of mildly like progressive because that's the time we live in, right? But that doesn't mean it's super lectury. I just thought it was kind of a lot of it came off as cringe. The character that spoke with the Latin accent, that transformer, the girl who was just knew everything. It felt like Saturday morning cartoon level writing that was just made live action. It was dumb. And
Andre,
it didn't feel organic. So I don't know if that answers the question very well. There's nuance to all of this. That's why I don't really knee jerk react to this unless it's super overt, like I don't know. What was that gay romance?
Ghostbusters 2016. I don't know.
Yeah,
like Bros.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly, Tom. Like something that's incredibly overt. This wasn't overt. It was just cringe. Like it's like, and it does ruin the experience. But I would even argue like, okay, if they released Alien today with Ellen Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver, would people say it's woke? That's what I'm saying. If you start.
Some would, because now we're seeing ghosts, and that's the issue. We've been so browbeaten that now there are some that have been so browbeaten and so demoralized that, and this is like something that everyone has to be watchful doesn't happen to them. But they say like, oh, there's a black person on screen, it's woke. Oh, there's a woman in the lead, it's woke. Oh, no, this was like the same thing when The Mandalorian first came out. And there were so many who were like, oh, it's woke, look at Gina Carano's character. And then, of course, later she proved herself that she was really a badass, which is what we said in the beginning. So that is something one has to be mindful of. On that note, Karine sent us 2 super chats on this, beginning with for $9.99. I agree, Transformers was entertaining, yet it needed more work. I didn't see any white message, though, Andre.
Anti-white.
Yeah, and then and the anti-white, thank you. And then she continued for $19.99. I disagree, not anti-white. This takes place in earlier to mid-90s, where racial injustice was more prominent. The jokes were dumb. What made the movie entertaining was New York City, family bonds, Transformers. This for Generation X era. And yeah, Green, I see absolutely what you're saying. And I will also say that if this movie had come out in exactly the same form as it is now, with the exact same cast, and with the exact same story, exact same, just literally exactly as it is right now, and it had come out 10 years ago, I would not have reacted to anything in the slightest, for the exact same reason that you are that you are referring to here. The characters that we see in the movie are clearly underprivileged. So this is like a good point, actually. It's not anything in the movie itself per se. What creates that perception is the horizon and the general culture in which it is released, where I see, just from observing on the outside in, that as it is right now, you can say things about white people that would be completely and utterly acceptable if they were said about anyone else. But when it's about white people, not only is it okay, it's commendable.
Right. It's to me, the only socially acceptable form of racism is anti-white currently. That that is it. To ignore that is stupid. Both are wrong. Both are wrong. I mean, it's just so yeah. Is it there? Yes. Is it overly dominant? Not really. It's subtle, but
it's
there.
Just there in the first 10-15 minutes. And again, so Karin, you are right. If this had been in a completely different context, it wouldn't have.
She makes a good point here, though, because this is what I've said before about, like, look, when I go to see movies about certain things in certain eras, I'm not going to have an issue with certain things being in them. But if you're sitting here and you're going to try and feed me a film that is made and takes place in 2023, and you're expecting me to believe that there's this, huge bit about racism and all this stuff going on and anti this and whatever, it's like, no, that's bullshit. But like something in the 90s, yeah, I can understand. And this is where I don't understand. It's like, you want to tell a story about racism and all this stuff, then go back to a time when it was more prevalent, right? And tell a story in that era. When I expect to see a movie about that, that's one thing. But when I go to see a more modern film like Transformers, I don't normally expect that. Now, bringing up the point that it takes place in the 90s, if you're going to have like a cops maybe hassle a young Hispanic gentleman a little bit more than they would normally nowadays, that's more acceptable. I can understand it because of the era, like Karin just said. But we can't be knee-jerky about that and say it's anti-woke at the same time.
To me,
or anti-white, I mean.
Yeah, to me, though, the message comes from, this is something that is accurate to the period. I'm not disputing that, not in any way, shape, or form. But I do feel that it is unfortunate to put it out in this day and age, where really nothing good can come from it, because that is just hammering a new generation of people, a new generation who are now growing up, learning that they are evil and they are oppressors, even though they have never done a single thing to anyone.
And then, as a counterpoint, Vincent brings up that, so we go through the whole movie and the only white guy is in the final 2 minutes.
No, he's the only white guy that turns out to be good. There's 3 white people in the movie, and the one in the final 2 minutes, he starts out appearing as an asshole until it turns out that he wasn't anyway. Whereas the first 2, which are earlier in the movie, they're just assholes through and through.
Well, we're just heading towards a trend where several years from now we're going to get rollout promotional tours where the white guy is going to say, well, it's really nice to finally represent my community.
Oh Lord, let's hope it doesn't get that far. But let's put a pin in the super chats for just a moment, because I don't know how much longer we got Chris for. But we just got a new clip from Indiana Jones.
Oh no.
And Indy's face there is very indicative of this clip, I would say.
Oh, he's got a double chin there.
I think that's just skin. It's not even fat.
Oh, it's like a chicken fat.
I figure we could watch a few seconds of this, and then Chris, you're going to see this movie this week, and you had some thoughts on it.
Yeah, so. I have a theory, and I'll go over it after the clip.
So is it all right if we play a little bit of this, Andre, you think? Since it's an official clip?
Yeah, sure, okay. Go for it. Well, of course, that's why we're going to get nailed for it, but hey, we'll
get nailed for it, but you have the right to fight it, so you can claim, And I'm cutting it about 18 seconds. We're not going to play the whole darn thing.
Get in the pool!
What? Help me open the door!
Well, they didn't get out the doors. Get in the pool!
Okay, who get in?
Help me!
Oh.
Archimedes, Assassinated by water displacement.
Pause it for a second there. All right, and then let's continue, just to reduce the possibility of...
Well, I was going to say, actually, there's not too much more to see other than this.
No,
water
but
goes
splitting
in.
them up is a good idea.
Yeah.
Water displacement.
Yeah, he says Archimedes was obsessed with it. And they fall.
Spoilers.
There you go. All right. So there's our clip.
That was also in Ratatouille, I should add.
So, Chris, you said you had a theory about Indiana Jones. You're going to see it this Wednesday.
Not a theory about the movie. They're screening it for general critics this Wednesday on the Disney lot. So my theory is it feels a bit desperate to screen it more than 2 weeks before the actual opening, considering that it's already premiered at Cannes and reviews are out. There's no embargo. We're seeing the movie, this, June 14th. It opens the 29th or whatever.
29th, 30th, yeah.
Yeah. In any case, they need to get that Rotten Tomatoes score up. The most friendly critics to them weren't the critics who attended Cannes. It's the critics that are locally here in Los Angeles. And I'm sure they're flying some people in too. They want to get that Rotten Tomatoes score up. You're going to see a lot of positive reviews, and you're going to see the critics in Cannes were wrong. And you're going to see some positive reviews, or at least reviews that emphasize the positive aspects of the movie, and you'll see reviews that push back against the criticisms. So because Los Angeles is the home team, it's where a lot of the media that is more easily able to be controlled,
instead of those racist and bigoted French. Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but what I'm saying is
that's what they'll run with.
Well, who knows? I'm saying
I'm kidding, but
they're trying to get the Rotten Tomatoes score up. They're going to screen it for the home team. I happen to know that the general critic screenings are usually people that are friendly to movies, right? That's why
I agree with you. I think that you're on point. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be there, but whatever. So yeah. Sorry,
Chris. When you go to these screenings, are the ushers in push-up bras with trays of champagne? Are they schmoozing you? Or
that was 10 years ago. Now they're little Twinkie guys. But yeah.
Well, it depends. Like, I am part of an organization called the Critics' Choice Awards. So I vote in that organization. I've been in it for like almost 20 years. And I get invited. I don't get invited to like stuff like there's studios that like I'm not on the list. Like, I have a beef with Warner Brothers going back to the 90s. It's a long story. It involves Batman Returns. A story for another time. But so I'm sort of on the general critics list because of my affiliation with the CCA during awards season, which generally starts around September, which is after the Toronto Film Festival. I do get invited to events where, yes, I am schmoozed with free alcohol. And I like things that are free. Sure, I'll go there. But I have the ability to look beyond that. It doesn't... While I enjoy a free cocktail or beverage during a screening, it doesn't really influence me. I mean, you can see through all the also in a way it can have the opposite effect where it's like, you're trying to schmooze me because the movie's bad, right? But I don't get invited. For example, I don't get invited to unless it's like an indie movie. Like when it comes to indie movies, I'm, people know who I am in that space. But general big studio movies, I'm not. I don't have that kind of privilege. So there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Kush is, I think Kush is on point here. Exactly. I agree with you, Chris. I think that's spot on.
Just this one clip, he was like pathetically rolling those gears into it. It was like he was on the beach and trying to roll stones away. And then the way it dropped was so slow, and then how the speed with which they slid down was unbelievably slow. This one clip was horrible.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It seems very limp and lifeless. It's like, and you're supposed to be putting out things that are supposed to be enticing people to see the film.
Yeah.
Yeah. This clip didn't entice me.
it's almost as bad or worse than the last one where we only got what they felt was probably the better part, and we learned was the better part of the clip, because the parts that they didn't show us were where Fleabag was basically doing everything, and Indy was jumping between carts. It's like, what the hell is going on here? Like this doesn't even look like an Indiana Jones movie or feel like one.
Yeah,
there's something off about it. I don't know. Well, we'll find out from Chris this later this week.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing a live stream on Film Threat late that night. It'll be me, Alan, Paulie from Latino Slant, and Dante James from Verbal Riot Show. The four of us are going, and we're just gonna go live probably about 9:30 p.m. Pacific time, and we'll talk about it. So, look for us there. And that, but I don't know how much different my review is going to be than what I've already read. Like, we'll see.
Yeah,
but
don't be influenced. Go in with a clear mind, Chris.
I always try to look. I know.
Good. You're a good guy. You're a very good guy.
Good. Paulie will be there. It'll be fun. So I don't know. Like,
I think between that group of guys you just said, you're going to get a pretty fair, balanced look at the film. Paulie is, a different kind of individual when he looks at films, and you are a little bit different. And Alan, well, I wouldn't say that either, Six, but he does kind of love everything. He is kind of a. I don't want to say that because he's not.
More importantly, are you related to Al Gore?
Vicariously.
First of all, I met him at the Sundance Film Festival back when his movie An Inconvenient Truth, year before.
Hello, Chris Gore. We have the same last name.
Interesting.
Did you see my movie?
Finish there. Come on.
I had a conversation with him. He looked at my badge and he said, "Hey, cuz." And then we got to talking. And my dad grew up on a farm in Indiana. His family comes from Tennessee, also grown up on a farm.
Oh.
We realized we might have been related. We sort of were talking about that. I had this great conversation with him. I thought, oh my God, if the guy I'm just talking to now had run for president, he would have won. He was so stiff. It was like Spock. Literally was like Spock. And he was, I remember that campaign. He was incredibly stiff and too controlled and too, overproduced and like a lot of stuff these days. I mean, but if that guy had run, he would have won. He
was defeated by Chads.
Yeah, but I would have. I may in fact be distantly related, but
it's just curious.
It doesn't get me anything.
You should exchange saliva to find out DNA or whatever.
I don't know about that.
Exchange saliva.
You know what? I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking.
I'm curious to see that movie, An Inconvenient Truth. I haven't watched it in a while, but a lot of those.
It has not well.
No.
Well, what I'm saying is a lot of climate stuff. They're like, this is going to happen in 10 years, and then when it doesn't, it makes me think. It makes me think they're. And I look, I'm not going down a rabbit hole with this. I don't want to derail the show. All I'm saying is these documentaries are here for a reason. I have a copy of Newsweek magazine from July 1969 when man landed on the moon. I can turn this entire article about how climate, there's a coming climate crisis that's going to destroy the planet. And I'm reading this. This is 1969, and I'm reading this issue of Newsweek. I have it because of the moon landing, right? Like how cool have that issue. And I'm looking at these other articles, and I'm like, what were they trying to do?
Yeah, there was an article in the 60s when the Earth hits 2 billion people, there'll be mass starvations and death.
It's like I remember for the first Earth Day, they buried a car.
I think in recent years, the pandemic and whatnot has opened our eyes to a lot of things when it comes to the media. I think a lot of people have become aware. A lot of people have become woke.
I was always a mainstream media person, and they have come out of the last 3 years looking very bad.
Yeah, which is
why we're here.
Right. It's just interesting to see like I trust individuals. I don't trust organizations the way I used to. But I was a media, not that that's changed. I was a media addict. I had subscriptions to 50 magazines. I read Newsweek when I was a kid.
Yep.
I never missed a presidential debate from Jimmy Carter and Reagan. That's dating me. But I sound about as good now as Harrison Ford in that clip. But it's just because I was in Dallas with culture. Culture knows how to party. But no, like it just makes you look. All I'm saying is question everything. That's a Gen X thing, and that's what I would do. I think that what is concerning to me now, which is partially a thread in my film Attack of the Doc, is their forces trying to divide us. Their forces trying to divide people and keep people divided and distracted. Yep. And I don't buy into it. And anyone that supports division or you're supposed to hate these people, like, nope, not gonna fall for it. Not falling for it. Whether it's an organization or someone on social media trying to stir things up, I do not. I really reject it. I reject anyone trying to divide people in this country. So that's what I'll say on that. That's a
Chris Gore for president. Chris Gore for president.
Well, someone would dig up many of the things I've said that are stupid on social media. Many things. And I know we're interesting. We were talking about John Campea last week. There was a balanced conversation. I think that at the end, we're concerned he's going through something, but he dropped a video that I thought was really interesting. A kind of video he's never done before, which is a whole essay, basically pushing back on a premise that I don't think he knows very much about, frankly.
I have not seen this video. Can you give me the highlights of what he was saying there?
He was basically...
Or if you can send it to Tom with like the highlights.
He was justifying his woke coming on their face rant with a video essay, but it's a video essay type of thing. I just don't think he knows film history as well as he thinks he does. And that's all I'll say. And I think that he has not served himself by surrounding himself with people who know more than he does. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert Meyer Burnett is a student of film history. I am also a student. I don't profess to know everything, but I know a lot about certain areas of film. So does Rob. And John would do well to find people who know film history. I can send you the essay. I'll DM you, Andre. But I feel bad for the guy now. That's all I can say.
Well, I don't feel bad. Well, maybe I should as a human, but I'm deeply loyal to RMB. I love him to pieces. I love him to pieces, and he knows that. And I don't think he was treated well in the whole situation. He's an incredibly gracious man. I would not have been so gracious. And whatever this video essay is that Campea thinks he knows how to do essays and try to be like some of the more professional channels or informed channels. Good luck. I see a topic for me tomorrow night, Tom.
I put it in the private chat so everyone has access to it. He's never done a video like this. It's kind of like something that Gary from Nerdrotic would do.
That's what I'm talking about.
Gary's been doing these. I mean, obviously we all watch him. His video essays are like mini documentaries. He sources everything.
Yep.
He fact checks. He'll message me. He goes, do you know about this or whatever? I'll send him an article. He sources. So he's showing his footnotes and sources as he is. I mean, I don't know. You may want to see it before you show it.
I ain't going to play it, but I'll tell you right now. You know what this is response is? This is the response to what he got for his crappy little video, because nobody cared about the people like that video he did yelling at us. Remember?
That was a hostage video.
Yeah, the hostage video, my ass. He's trying to take us hostage.
Well,
the other way. Hostage video, if anything, I can tell right away.
This video is like a reaction essay, but it's not sourced. And it I believe that it lacks context and some film history, because there's a lot of things that are perverted as a narrative, that like there's a whole black cinema that people just don't talk about. There are filmmakers like Spike Lee, who is still my hero. I love Spike Lee shit because he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck. He's not looking for anyone to give him an opportunity. I feel like he cares about getting an Oscar too much. Like Spike,
I was going to say, unless it's a white person winning an Oscar, then he's got something to say. But
but all I'm saying is I've always liked him because she's got to have it is great. There's
I love some of his films. Like every other movie he makes is decent, but like, yeah.
I mean, he's a Gen X guy too, like, but he never waited for someone to give him an opportunity, and he didn't complain. He went out and raised money himself and just did it. He's an indie film guy, and he's worked in Hollywood, so he gets money from Hollywood sometimes, gets his movies distributed by Hollywood. But there's so many other filmmakers like that, and it's like they're lost because you're too lazy to actually do the work. You're too lazy to, like, when it comes to big studio movies or big television, I get it. But like, I don't know. I grew up with this stuff. What I'm saying is I see it differently because I paid attention, because I looked for movies that were beyond fucking John Hughes movies. I never liked those movies because I thought they were very gentrified. It was a type of people that I didn't relate to, mainly because of the class disparity, Like, they were just rich kids from Chicago suburbs. I didn't really connect with that. Not because they were white, but just because they were of like a type of person that those were not my friends. Like, my friends were more blue collar kids outside in the suburbs of Detroit. So, and I try to actually take into account other people's experiences. I just think that it's important. If you're going to be in this space, you need to know film history. All of it, which includes indie film, filmmakers that were prominent, filmmakers like, I can't stand this thing of it. It's the first this, it's the first that, only because you don't know. Like, you don't know, you have not studied this. And
for instance, I doubt he's ever even heard of Melvin Van Peebles.
Among other filmmakers,
many other people from back in that era. Exactly. Like, I think Mike's right. I think this is a good one for us to probably dig into on Mead. Because I am a student of, like, you and Robert, to where I know enough to where I can sit here and go, well, that's bullshit. Yep. Well, there was this. Well, there was that. Well, what the hell are you talking about there? I'm sure I could just call him out on each and every.
I found it when I was a kid and saw Putney Swope. I went, wow, there's a black guy in a major lead role, which I didn't really see a lot of.
Yeah, I've skimmed this video in the background now, so I cannot make like a detailed refutation, because I only skimmed it, listening to him on one ear and you guys on the other. But you know what I can say with this video essay of his is? This is just like Al Gore's An Inconvenient Truth. in that it if you just look at that, and you don't look for any other sources or anything like that, it's going to seem convincing. And if you are so inclined, you're going to see like, whoa, he's making some good points. But let's fast forward. In The Inconvenient Truth, there's no truth in it. That movie is pure propaganda.
Well, that's the inconvenience.
Not a single fucking thing in that's claimed there has come to pass. Not one. On the contrary, I mean, all those ice sheets and everything that we're going to melt, they're in better shape than ever. Spoilers. But anyway, that aside, this essay by John Campea is exactly the same fucking thing. What it is, it's just propaganda, it's woke lies, narrative. He makes claims that are out of context, that do not stand up to scrutiny, and when he defends Hollywood's changes, what's the first thing he comes to defense? Like his reason number one: better reflect the world we live in. What fucking bullshit is this? The world just rejected The Little Mermaid.
Is that what he said?
Was
that a quote from the video, his video?
Yeah. That's his number one defense. Better reflect the world we live in.
It's a terrible defense.
And also to better enhance creativity. It's not creativity when you are told right away, these are your parameters for ESG purposes. We need to do this, this, and this, race band here, there, and there. I mean, these aren't creative decisions. Like, for instance, I used the example of Dune. It's not that Denis Villeneuve was thinking, in my vision, I'm so creative, I'm going to change this character and this character. No. He was told in no uncertain terms that you have to make these changes because we tell you to. So we will give you the option we need so and so much more diversity, and if you don't do it, we're going to make you do Paul Atreides. That's how much creativity there is there. And this is what goes on and on in Campea's video here. Again, I should break it down, but then I have to listen to the whole thing in detail. But just skimming through it, it's just lies, half-truths, and ideology. This is manipulative bullshit he's saying.
I never heard of him until we did I think the show. Then I dug up
again. He was the all of us.
But
like
he's
first generation.
Completely
He was
uncharismatic.
our motivation.
He's not very charismatic. I mean, Chris Gore is a shining beacon of energy, and he's fun to listen to. I couldn't watch
I'll tell you why. Because of guys like Chris, because of guys like Robert, because of guys like Schnepp, because of the people that he had around him that actually knew a thing or two at that time. He was the only guy doing this stuff, like AMC, Movie Talk, and Collider.
Plus, Paul, let me save you a lot of misery. You're late to the scene, no offense. I know you've had a YouTube channel for 6 years, but in terms of this culture war stuff and all this fandom stuff, you just got here, so you don't.
True.
Campea was here first. He, and other people have done, but Chris just got here last year, frankly, as well. Even though he's been in entertainment forever, and he's up the game. Gary Nerdrotic up the game. Andre's up the game. So I think Campea, from where I sit, he's having a crisis of ego and confidence, and that's what's led to all of this. I don't believe for a second it's just about money. I believe it's about attention and relevance.
I think you're spot on, Mike. I think it's because of guys like Chris, because of guys like Paul that have been able to do this.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at
Chris. You can do it without him, and Paul can just come out of nowhere and do it. Exactly.
Right, exactly. Chato, I'm going to give you a huge compliment. As much as you are loved, I guarantee you there are people that you may or may never hear from that are jealous of your amazing success. You are amazing. You came on and you've done amazing work in a short amount of time, experienced the success which you deserve. I mean, I'm one of your biggest fans.
Oh, I know.
That drives people absolutely nuts. And guys like Campea, who are ego driven and not fan based. Like, what I love about Andre and Tom is I've always known, when I was just a subscriber and I was never on YouTube, I knew they cared about me and the content they were delivering to me. I always knew that. And
all of us here have egos, but we're not driven by our egos.
Exactly. You're not driven by it. Chris isn't.
No,
I am.
No, you're not. You're
not even driven. Your car's wrecked.
Ah, shit, you're right.
Nice one. But yeah, good. No, actually, that's right, Mike. Because, like, for instance, even before we knew you as a producer, or something like when we heard that Mexican Iron Man has been in some kind of accident, like he's busted up his leg, we were like, oh my god, oh no. Like,
you never even know me, and my leg's up in the air, hanging by a cable, and I'm in rehab. Not sure if I'm ever going to be able to run, jog, or walk straight again. And there you guys are. And I didn't have to send a super chat. I was just a sub. I was just a member, and you took the time and attention. Versus this other guy who last week says he wants to lose 30,000 subscribers in a night.
It's a silly world.
It is.
But again, John Campea, to me, and there also, here's like the thing, Paul, is he charismatic? No, but he was never alone. What he did is that was so brilliant, which is what I've tried to do here with Midnight's Edge. He surrounded himself with people that they didn't have his vision. He was always the visionary in how to do stuff on YouTube, but he surrounded himself with people that were more charismatic than him.
I did see Robert.
More informed than him. Like,
I saw Robert Myers-Burnett on his show. I guess he was a regular.
That's how I first was introduced to him.
And he was great.
John Campea through his show. Same with John Schnepp. He was also absolutely fantastic. It was those three. It was Campea who introduced me to both Schnepp and Robert Meyer-Burnett and some other people that I have no qualms about calling nobodies. But anyway, those three, that's what he did. It was his vision
for him
and the charm of the others. But now it's just him and his vision. But he seems to have lost sight of his own vision, that it has given way to his ego.
Well, he can't afford those people anymore.
Yeah, so he claims. But he needed to find a way, because he's without them, he's nothing.
Yeah.
Worse than nothing. He's because he's just ruining his own legacy right now.
It's strange, because you can look at the parallels and all the other things that went on over at Collider and watch that same kind of thing happening now just to him personally. And it's something has to be going on in his life. I know I've said this before, but there's got to be something in the background that's pushing some buttons. So,
you know what's pushing buttons is this stupid YouTube unrelenting 52 week a year machine.
It is a burnout machine. You have to for anyone that wants to be a YouTuber, you have to, like, this ain't the job.
No, this is a terrible career.
Yeah.
I remember doing sitcoms where you busted your ass for 6 months and then did nothing for 6 months. It was great, but you really busted your ass for those 6 months, 7 months. It was a little bit longer for 1 hour procedurals, but no, this YouTube is just stupid when it comes to.
If you're incapable of making it a lifestyle, it's a burn machine. And and it's not for you.
Algorithm anxiety.
Yeah, it takes a certain kind. Like, anyone in principle can be a YouTuber, but not everyone will be able to keep it up.
Yeah, and I feel sorry for anyone who comes out of school and decides to become a YouTuber, because if things blow up after 5 years and you've done nothing, then what do you put on your resume when you go for a job?
Well, that depends. That depends on exactly what you
all
did
of us
and how
are,
much of a businessman you were in doing it.
All of us are, are mature individuals, and we've all had careers independent of YouTube, and we're bringing that experience to YouTube. I think that's
why we succeed. Is my theory.
Yeah, that is to me what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and certainly that is the case with me. Like, for instance, I couldn't have started Midnight's Edge when I was out of high school. I couldn't have started it straight after university. I could only start it after having 10 years of professional work.
What was your first job?
My first job? Well, that depends how far back you want to go.
Like right out of high school, what was your first job?
My first job, when I was still in high school, like those theme parks, like Coney Island and Disney World, stuff like that. Yeah, that was my first job, my first summer job. And my second job, that's more like then I was working in the Norwegian National Registry. That was more like pencil pusher and proper bureaucracy stuff. That really prepared me for the world of corporate politics and finance and everything like that later on.
I put down carpets. I was a carpet layer for a bit, but except I got fired when I went to a woman's house, and she said, "Are you here to put down my carpet?" And I went, "Yeah." And I said, "Your carpet is stupid. It's ugly." And then she said, "What are you talking about? What are you so yelling at my carpet for?" "Well, you told me to put down your carpet, lady." And she picked up the phone. "Could you remove this fellow? I don't want him anymore."
I was thinking you were going to say something else, since we're talking about the lady on the carpet. Anyway, I thought we were going somewhere else with it. No, and after then university, after I did my master's with finance and everything like that, then I worked for Norway's biggest bank, which I did for a few years and stuff. So yeah, and all of that background and experience that I have from both banks and from the official CSD and basically corporate finance and business, that's what I brought to Midnight's Edge and applied that to Hollywood.
If only we were,
bring your experience, and Chris, of course, you have been on the indie side your entire life. I mean, that's why. And culture, Mike, I mean, that's why we're successful, because we bring something else to it, that we have some other things from outside of YouTube that we can apply to YouTube.
Yeah, but I'll still never be a YouTuber. At least one that ever cares about being monetized or making money, because I know how much work all of you fine gentlemen put into this, and I know from helping so many channels over the years how much YouTube pays. Heck no, I'd rather sell avocados on the side of the road.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you have to have a separate play.
Yeah, the thing that differentiates is you guys not only bring something to the table, but you have a passion for it, like Chris does. I mean, I love watching Chris's shows. They're just immensely entertaining than what him and Alan do and what all you guys do. But continuing on, Andrew, do you want to continue on with some super chats?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do a couple of super chats here. Or Chris, and how are you for time?
I'll stay through the super chats.
Okay.
And we're not doing too bad on the super chats, Andre. We can go ahead and start banging these out. For $2, Pinochet's Helicopter Tours, Midnight's Edge, and James Lindsay collaboration. When?
As soon as schedule permits.
Fantastic channel that guy has. Fantastic channel. 35. Now, what is this from Bye Bye Hollywood Land? Are those
the South African Rand?
So Culture and Chato and Moneymen. Is Iger a dead man walking? If so, when's he gone? When's the ESG hitting critical mass? How long until it ends?
Wow. There are many questions packed in here before we get to the ESG. Mike, let's begin with you on Iger being a dead man walking. Let's begin with that, because that's a completely separate question to ESG hitting critical mass.
Yesterday, an article appeared with late last night on Valiant Renegades that about Iger, and the title of that article was "Investors Not Enjoying the Ride." And what I found immensely entertaining about that is that it's poking fun at the name of his book, which was The Ride of a Lifetime. So I would say this: the clock is a ticking, because he put himself in a box where he announced that they were going to try to get dividends announced or announced, declared, or issued within a year. And that year is coming up also in January, February. So if January, February, March comes and we still have not seen any dividends, and we're in the middle of a train wreck with HULU and Comcast, and things haven't significantly picked up, that investor call for that fourth quarter that ends December 31st, or for that quarter that ends December 31st, 2023, which is their first quarter, will be mighty contentious indeed.
Yeah. Anyone else want to chime in on Bob Iger?
No. I mean, he was always kind of an interim. Whether or not they elect to get rid of him sooner than he plans is a whole other matter. And you're starting to see a lot of articles, or you have been seeing a lot of articles talking about boomerang CEOs and how they are often destined to fail, but they're usually the result of a poor succession plan. I would argue that that wasn't the problem here, that Chapek was headed a different direction than maybe some of the people that, control the board members wanted him to go. And again, that does point back at ESG, but that's an entirely other conversation. As far as being a dead man walking, I suspect that with everything collapsing right now, including park attendance, right, Mike? I mean, we're seeing that. I think Legal Mindset released a video about that yesterday or last night. And so, but again, it doesn't trigger an automatic change in that company. That company is now riddled with all of these agenda slurping, sycophants. I mean, that was what Iger and the board previously put. And so it is what it is. I don't know anybody else. I mean, I think in absent laws that actually prevent these types of mafioso techniques for controlling companies. The carrot and the stick is what Andre's video was this morning, which you should be watching, by the way.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that I don't know when it'll end. You have to make it so painful that these funds can't afford to make these kinds of decisions based on agenda and myths. And those are my thoughts anyway.
Yeah.
My thought is that because I've worked with so many companies, and when you walk into a company, you can smell when things are going well and when things are going badly. In every case, when I walked into a company to consult and things were going badly, things were always way worse than the companies led on, like really, really way worse. So that's always my first instinct, that however bad or however you guys are talking about Disney being in trouble, I think it's way worse than you guys think it is.
Absolutely.
I agree, which is why I maintain that they are assessing selling out various business units in addition to other moves they're going to make. But let's continue on with the super chats.
Yeah.
We have
but very briefly to answer, when is the ESG going to go away? It's not going to, on its own. That is going to require a dismantling, not just from audiences. It's not enough to buy from the companies. They're partially the victims here. It's the big banks behind it, and that is the real issue. That's going to take governmental interference.
Isn't it voluntary on the part of the companies to adopt ESG, though?
Yes and no. It is voluntary if you're a smaller company and you have the option to go with a funding partner that can give you the credit lines you need to plug the holes between when you have your production cost and when you actually get your revenue. If you're able to find a way to plug that hole that doesn't require ESG, it's completely voluntary. But companies over a certain size, those that need massive credit lines, they have no real choice because there's no, over a certain size, like for instance, you're a little local savings bank, like the local this suburb of Ottawa savings bank, it can only give credit line up to this point, right? That's not going to work for Chrysler or Disney, something like that. That takes a special kind of bank to be a special kind of institution. All of those that can offer that have ESG requirements. All of them.
Wow. And was it the banks that have been coerced to
Chato needs to watch our videos.
I'll watch the video. We're
going to move on. Accidental Tourist for $100 Norwegian krona says, "Hey Chato, introducing the Apple Vision Pro noun. Just turn the dial and transform your Starbucks from white supremacist to sassy black woman energy, powered by the BLM2 chip."
I love the idea.
Yeah, there's the key.
The key is you walk around in the Apple Vision and you just have the skin colorizer app on.
There you go.
Woohoo!
That's great.
And that makes sense.
550, a Canadian from David March. Chris, the reason she's so OP Mary Sue in Transformers is because of midichlorians.
Yeah.
Tom, is that how the Force works?
That's not how the Force works.
George should never have brought in midichlorians. That was stupid.
William Sleeper for $2.
You're gonna piss 6 off.
I love midichlorians.
William Sleeper for $2 says, "Chris, good X, Prey on Hulu. Was it woke? Not in my opinion." It's a good example.
What was the
Chris,
Prey,
the example
Predator
is Prey on Hulu. Was it woke in his
No, I actually like that. It was surprisingly good. I thought it was surprisingly good. Again, I think we are hypersensitive to wokeness in the same way that some people might be hypersensitive to, waking up in the morning and getting to work on time is white supremacy or whatever. Like those arguments are stupid. And sometimes we have to recognize that we may be overreacting. I actually enjoyed Prey, and I thought it was an interesting, different take on it. It was much better than I expected it to be. So
the response it got, I was surprised. I was like, they should have put it in theaters.
Yeah, no, same here. I felt the same way. It was as I was watching it, I'm like, why was this not in theaters? Especially with what was coming out at the time, right? What was coming out at the time, theaters weren't 100% back yet. So I quite enjoyed it. I like the idea of, not having modern technology as a tool and having to use other types of skills. And I thought the actress was very good. What I did not like about the movie were the accents. I thought it just should have been subtitled. It should have been subtitled. That would have been so great. It would have added more authenticity. And I don't know, but that I'm an indie film guy. That's how I think. And then, some executives like, no, it's gotta be in English and they have to talk like they're from Burbank, California. And that's annoying. It's, I would just have very little dialogue and I would have most of it subtitled. But I enjoyed that movie. Sometimes you have to kind of really search hard for it. Like it may not actually be there. And so I think everyone needs to just dial it down a bit, So
I just wish she was Gina Carano sized.
Right. I would be more convinced because Gina Carano, legit, you could see clips of her. She could beat the crap out of anyone on this live stream. No disrespect, but I'm telling you, she's a professional.
So I'm willing to bet at least one of us would pay for that privilege.
And you'll learn that, especially out in Alberta at Buffalo Jump, where it's called Buffalo Jump, where the indigenous would drive buffaloes over the edge of a cliff and then attack them while they were kind of disabled. And the women and the men joined in the hunt together, and it would take weeks. and these were not unsubstantial people. So, historically that's there.
Mecca J for $5 says, if Chris is related to AI, could that mean he also believes in man beer pig?
Man bear pig.
Oh, Al Gore, not AI.
Yeah, he says if Chris is related to Al. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to respond to that.
Man bear pig is real.
It was a fun conversation. I met him at Sundance, got a picture with him, and he was really nice and he felt genuine. And I thought, why weren't you like this? The whole time he was VP, the whole time he ran for president, he didn't act like he did in my short conversation, which tells me that, and this is like, no one should be shocked by this. Most of our politicians are fake, phony, and they're a representation of a human being, but not a real one.
There are people who are very good personally and not good in a room.
Right.
That's just. But I mean, they've been trained for so long; they should learn.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. What other ones do we have for Chato and Chris? Let's see.
That is it.
We are caught up with the super chats for Chato and Chris. So I don't know how much longer you gentlemen have, but
I need to go.
Yeah, I need to go as well.
Oh, sure. You want to leave when we get to the Amber Heard news? I see how it is.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
All right. Well, Chris, go ahead and plug Film Threat. Tell us all about it.
Check out Film Threat. Subscribe to my channel. If you've been watching our courtroom show, this week Sparks Will Fly. It's going to be crazy. Last week we had on Critical Drinker, and Tom, you were on the show. Paul, you were an expert witness. It's a lot of fun.
It's a ton of fun.
Wednesdays, 1 p.m. Pacific time. And then we'll be doing a late night review of Indiana Jones 5 out of the theater. Me, Paulie from Latino Slant, Dante, and Alaning will be there. And then back with our normal live cast on Friday. I'm trying to catch up to Chato. I want to get that 100,000 subs.
Yeah, you're working way harder than me. You will get it in no time.
Great. Well, and just thank you. Always enjoy my Monday mornings here. I had a crazy weekend. Let's just say that culture. It was a crazy weekend. So, but thank you for allowing me to be a part of it.
Thank you, Chris.
Always enjoy it. So take care.
We'd love to have you and Frank here.
Yeah. It was great. It was great hanging out with you again, Frank. Thanks for
yeah, sure. And just always, I like having 6 on. 6 is, I like.
She keeps us in order.
I love that.
I try to keep the super chats in the memory. I'm all about the chat, so
he's all about
I try
the
to
chats.
make sure everybody gets their voice.
I like hearing Six's opinion on things, though.
Yes, I do as well.
I like it when Chato actually tells a funny joke.
You say that now, Paul. Just wait till she goes after you over those midi-chlorians, man.
No,
well, when I do say something funny, Mike, just tell me so I know.
I love you. I love you since the day you showed up. Thanks, Chris. Chris, I'll get in touch with you about the Comic-Con.
Yes, for sure. All right, take care, everyone. Have a great
Chris.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Chris.
Take care. Thanks for joining.
Yes, indeed. And Paul, were you going to stick around much longer? Or are you done?
No, I need to go. We're renovating the house, and I got stuff to put out into the pod. So.
All right. Well, you go take care of that, sir. Check out Call Me Chato. That's the channel. I'm sure the link is in the description and being shared in the chat as we speak.
And just and published a video this morning, which I'm sort of proud of, actually.
I loved your short.
Right.
My short. Yeah.
I loved your short video. That was freaking hilarious.
Well, you know what? They come to my mind and I do them. It's one of the good things about Twitter, YouTube, and short is that when you're a comedian, sometimes you just pop up. You have a joke and then you just you put it out there, right? And then you move on. So then I just have to make sure that if I need those jokes for any stand-up routine or something that I might do live, I got to go find where they are and record them again. So that's the only problem. Anyways, you guys are all great. I look forward to watching the ESG video, Andre, because you've been on fire lately just with regards to your very serious business bits and pieces over the last little while, which I found unbelievably gripping and interesting. So
yeah, and the funny thing is, if you go back to the sources and you fact check them, you'll find that not only is what I'm saying on the mark, I've been leaving things out.
Well, you know what? There's something I call the 80-20 rule. You tell people 20%, they understand 80. You tell people 80%, they understand 20.
Yeah, that's actually a very, very good point right there.
So yeah, people will fill in the gaps on their own. So no one needs to be bludgeoned.
And that's kind of like what I've been trying to do, like also with like bringing in like clips of like interviews with people, and I've been like trying to let those speak a little bit for themselves, so you can like do this one in this one too. There's especially like one clip I've been wanting to use for ages and ages and ages about the legitimacy of certain organizations that just like pop up out of nowhere, and I finally got to use it in this one.
So, they're all these NGOs. Yeah, you could do a show. What is ESG? Do a Matt Walsh.
Well, maybe if the stars align, we'll do something with James Lindsay one of these days.
That would please tell me when that happens, because I want to be on that show.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So James Lindsay, yes. Graham Hancock, no. Okay.
No. I will not be a very good guest.
I'm joking.
Everyone, thank you. You've all been you're always great. And I'll
take care, Paul.
I don't know about Wednesday. We'll see. I'm going to be in transit, but
all right.
Talk to you later, everyone. Bye.
Take care. Safe travels.
Thank you.
As Take a Bow says in this super chat here, the amount of bots defending Amber Heard is disgusting. Smear campaign against Depp is in full swing. I've been hearing about this, and even I even had to retweet the quartering because he had an opinion on the sudden retrending of Amber Heard is finished. He said, unpopular take, if you're still obsessing with Amber Heard after the public humiliation she took, I think maybe it's time to touch some grass. Ooh, I don't know if I'd said that. If she had won, sure, but she got beat so badly she left the country and quit acting. What else do you want? Well, part of that's true. Isn't that, Andre? The other half, not so much.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, we were told that she would give up Hollywood, but that's just an excuse for Hollywood gave up on her. But she didn't give up on acting, and she's still trying to bring back her career. And as many pointed out, that of course there's going to be indies and stuff like that would be happy to have her, even for the controversy, because it's going to give some level of interest to their movies that they otherwise wouldn't be getting. And that is exactly the same thing here, because now the promotional push has begun for a movie that she actually has filmed post all this, which is now in the process of being launched in festivals. We have the headline from Deadline Hollywood reading, Amber Heard to launch new film in the fire as part of strong lineup at Taormina Film Festival. So that strong lineup, of course, that's in reference to the Taormina Film Festival. So this then is something that's filmed on exactly. This is the prestige of the festival where Amber Heard was able to open her movie. But
I'll tell you what, Andre, this is something that I would show up to and I'd be like, oh, I thought it said Tarantino Film Festival. My bad.
Yeah, reading is hard. Like,
shit.
Apologies to people with dyslexia everywhere.
Yeah.
So
it was free tickets. That makes sense now. No, just kidding. Go ahead, Andre.
Yeah. So this story then, and I have to commend the choice, because what the movie here is a genre movie. It's a movie that takes place in the very late 1800s, and she presents and plays a psychologist or psychiatrist or something like that in it, and she comes in a position where she has to try to do something with a child that may be demonically possessed. So it is a genre movie. It's a horror-ish demonic possession movie. Those always do well. And this kind of role is one that generally does well in this kind of movie. So it's a good choice for a combat movie, I will say that. And probably it's filmed at such a low budget that it's going to be profitable either way. But yeah, so now the big push has begun with a lot of help from Deadline Hollywood. So, Cultured, how excited are you for, Fem Exorcist, as Alex Ashken says. But Cultured, how excited are you for the return of Amber Heard? And based on the brief description, is this a movie that you'd be interested in checking out, or is this something you'd rather see on Disney Plus?
I don't know that I'd be interested in seeing it anywhere, Andre. I've never really had a particular affinity for this actress. I've never seen her deliver at any level that I would suggest she's a good actress. I probably won't see it, but I agree with you. This is probably a good way for her to kind of have a comeback. I've never heard of this film festival, but I guess that's not uncommon. I don't know.
Well, they can thank her for giving it some press.
Yeah, I think that she'll be very happy, or they'll be very happy to have her.
I just don't see, like I said, I don't see her being a draw for anybody. I mean, what does she have? Maybe 1,000 people who actually support her, and then 100,000 bots. So,
well, you just have to see all the people that support her on Twitter, and then block their replies, or block replies to anyone that follows them, and that ain't many. That's like 100 people or something, as you said. So yeah,
interesting. All right, well, fair enough. And like I said, it's I don't know. I'm not seeing it. How about you guys?
Well, I'll go next. Is she naked?
We haven't heard anything of that. We don't know that there's going to be like a
once I find that
anything,
out. Once I find that out, then I'll be able to determine my interest level.
Yeah.
Mexican Iron Man has a low bar when it comes to things like this.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny that she's playing a psychiatrist when she's probably one of the dumbest.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah. So, but she spent enough time in psychiatrist's office, so.
Yeah. She probably did some studies on her various experts.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Good for her for getting help.
No, but
dang, that was a good
there's
one.
no way she would ever be smart enough to be a doctor.
She ruined the name strippers.
I just had to highlight that comment from Edilberto right there because it was brilliant.
No, at the same time though, not saying anything against the quartering. He's not wrong. I mean, it is kind of punching while she's down at this point, but I mean, she's the one who brought it on herself. She's lucky that James Gunn took over the Marvel universe, the DC universe, or she probably wouldn't be in Aquaman 2. So I mean, she's gonna get lucky that she's still gonna be in that thing. But yeah, I don't think we've heard the last of Amber Heard.
Yeah, no, she's not going to go quiet into the night. That would not be consistent with the conditions that she was diagnosed with.
I can't wait to see the press tour for this movie where she, has to go do interviews with journalists about playing a psychiatrist.
The journalists are fine, Sticks. That's the thing. The journalists are on her side. She ain't got to worry about them.
Yeah, no. I mean, and they're going to try to run cover for her. And
they'll call her brave and stunning the whole time. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you even have some in the entertainment media complex that already are like, yeah, this judge, this sentence was unfair and horrible and everything like that, and she's the real victim. You have that. You do have that.
That's what I mean. They're already on her side, so she's not afraid of them. She's afraid of us.
Yeah. So yeah, that train right there is still not.
And I don't mean us personally. I mean just like, critics.
Oh yeah, no, we didn't even cover
YouTubers, stuff like that. Like people like that Umbrella guy. I mean, come on. I mean, when you got to go out of your way to be mad at that dude. I mean,
I'd love to see him ask her questions on the press tour.
Exactly right. Like
if he were to show up and say, "Hey, that Umbrella guy here, I have a question on behalf of this, that would be freaking hilarious."
And on the note of Amber, Pilgrim Media says advice: keep your daughters off the pole. Yes.
Maybe you should design another T-shirt. Maybe have her squatting on the horse, taking a dump over the side.
I mean, the other one was okay, but it was no. The Last Jedi is not canon. So, yeah. But nah, whatever. She's not going to go anyway anytime soon. But I've said all I need to say about Amber Turd at this point until I have to go watch Aquaman.
Yeah, we even sold the T-shirts and everything. So
right.
Yeah.
You mean the first trailer that she probably won't even be in 6? You wait, mark my words here. She's not going to be in that one bit. It's going to be like the opposite of Michael Keaton in the Aquaman. Like, they will do everything they can not to show you her in the trailers.
Well, even that picture in the article, which I assume was from the studio.
Yeah.
It's such a far away shot of her. I would not have recognized. And her eyes are closed in the picture.
It is kind of horrible.
Probably because if her eyes are open, she's always got to be turning and looking at the jury.
Yeah, she's standing she's 50 feet away from the camera. They're like, to zoom in, look how digitized it is. Yeah. But you're right, her eyes do look half closed or closed. Yeah, not the most flattering of pictures to send for a movie. No, not in the least. But see, I wouldn't even have thought of that. Yeah, that's why we have women around here. Yeah. That's right. There is over 1.7K watching. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Culture, you've been pretty quiet. Nothing to add on the Amber Turd front, or?
I said my piece. I've never been like I said. She's not for me. There's lots of things in life are not for me.
I don't think she's for a lot of men, to be honest with you. I mean,
well,
Mikey, you couldn't fix her. She's unfixable.
Yeah, this is not Mike.
If Johnny Depp couldn't fix her, Mike, I don't think he can.
Here's the thing, though. Mike,
he's got all the money in the world and alpacas.
Yeah, but
I don't hide in the bathroom
long enough for that to be an issue.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Andre.
Yeah, but is it worth it?
Well,
I love you, Mikey. I don't want you to die.
Well, he's going to run out the window before she can do anything.
Well,
oh my God.
She's a good. Well, we seen what she did with a fucking bottle to Johnny.
Yeah, that's why he has.
Mike will die.
Window. I mean, if Johnny had jumped out the window like Mike does every weekend, his finger would have been perfect.
Logically, Mikey will set her off before he has a chance. Johnny was too benign, right? Johnny would retreat to the bathroom.
Exactly.
And she damn near killed him with a fucking wine bottle. Yeah, Mikey is a dead man. He's not even going to get to the window.
The moment that Mikey sees the bottle, that's when he knows, okay.
It doesn't matter. He's going to flip her.
I see the bottle that go out the window. Is that what you two are saying?
Yeah.
You're not listening to me. Okay. It doesn't matter. She will kill you before you have a chance to realize it. That's the problem. You can't trust a bitch like that. She will see early on that you're going to be a problem. So she will take you out before you have a chance to get out the window, Mikey. See, that's the thing. Johnny would sit there and listen to her shit until he couldn't listen to her shit no more.
Right.
You talk back.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, you're like Sadie. When I tell Sadie to move or do something, she's like, row, 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 row. No.
The difference is, of course, that Johnny is an emotional little milksop that's going to sit.
That's what I mean.
Whereas Mike, he's going to go straight into action, right? He's going to charm her, he's going to do his business, and that's when she's going to want the bottle, of course, but that's when he's going to jump out the window. That's my theory. Mike wins. He's going to be out the window before that bottle leaves her hand. It's going to be in the
Andre
room. But yeah,
I'll give you this. Mike is probably smarter than her by far.
That's what I mean.
By far. I know he's smarter than her, but by far. So
Mike knows what he's up against. He knows exactly when is the time to jump out that window.
That means Mike should be smart enough not to even get in the same room with that chick.
Well,
that's the problem. Your dick's going to get you in trouble, dude.
And next super chat.
That's right, Culture. Oh my God, the cock.
Boom.
Moving on.
And we brought up Eric July earlier. His campaign is already over 400K. Congratulations, Eric. We're going to cover that on a later date. I'm trying to get him on here so we can talk all about that. And
awesome. I do not want to miss that day. So.
Yeah, hopefully we can work that out sooner than later.
Yeah.
But we do have some super chats and member chats, as Mikey was alluding to. David March has been here for 18 months. It says 18 months. Yay. Well, congratulations, and thank you for being here, and thank you for the support. Tim Hayes has been here for 2 years and a month. Thank you so much, Tim. We got Pinochet's Helicopter Tour. Says a bit of trivia. When you see a Yuri Bezmenov video, I know. He's been interviewed and moderated by G. Edward Griffin, author of The Creature from Jekyll Island. I'm not familiar with that one.
I wish I could say I was, but honestly, I am not. But anyone should see those 2 videos, because there are 2. There's the interview, but there's also a lecture, and the lecture is the more informative.
Damn, I was hoping for a porn. Actually,
I'm sure Amber is going to hook you up at
the sex video.
So,
the Amber Heard sex video. Well, that's the next thing she's got to do, right, to make her comeback. Is a sex video gets leaked out. So,
well, if the movie bombs, yeah, sure.
Well, either or. Action Com says, Andre, a year ago you made an Amber Heard prediction on Midnight's Edge, episode 255. Clips in the comments. How did your prediction hold up a year later?
Can you remind me of what that prediction was?
He says clips in the comments. So did he post it somewhere?
Searching.
Yeah, we have to look for that.
Can you repost that again, Action Com? Sorry about that. It was probably a little while back.
Can't even get into the comments right now while we're live.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't even remember the prediction, to be honest.
What would we do without Action Com?
Action Com is absolutely awesome, and everyone should bow down their head in amazement at everything he does. Doing the time codes, I don't know how he does it. I tried to do it myself for a while before he started doing it, and I just couldn't, not managing the show at the same time. But yeah, once we find that clip, or if you can just like repeat the what the prediction was, then yeah, I hope I said something along the lines of that her Hollywood career is over, but she can still make a comeback in like smaller productions. I would have imagined I would have said something like that.
I think, probably. And I think Tom suggested OnlyFans is one of those smaller productions.
I'm sure I did at the time.
Yeah. I may have suggested like some German Scheisserport or something.
It's your mom, dude.
And I'm still not ruling that out for the future.
Looks like Action Com may have stepped away, so
I'll go into a different browser and see if I can find some comments here with some clips.
Okay, I was gonna say my assumption is that's what you said, but I'll keep going while you're looking.
Yeah,
for
move
that,
on in the meanwhile while I'm looking.
Before you go too far, because this is a Dune question. Waltman, so are you ready to fly the Dragon craft from Dune in Flight Simulator in November? Also, what's everyone's thoughts on the deep dive on Starfield?
Yes, my flight simulator is locked and loaded and ready to go. I got a joystick. I got a full pack. I cannot wait for that thing to come out. I hope the Waltmans meant that for me.
I'm assuming. Well, I was going to see.
I'm the only real gamer on this panel, I think.
Well, yeah, but this is the thing. I was hoping Andre would stick around for a minute because it says the
I'm still here.
Dragonfly from Dune. Okay, yeah, so you get to fly in a simulator. It looks like that's kind of cool.
Well, Flight Simulator is the Microsoft program. Okay, see that? Hold on. Where's my?
Oh, so you know stuff like about this. So you got to have the Oculus Rift to do this.
Yeah, I can imagine if you have like some kind of like virtual reality thing flying around. I'm just guessing here, but if we are talking about like some kind of flying around in an ornithopter in a virtual reality setup, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'd love to do that.
I got mine ready to go. My camera cord won't go, but I got that whole workstation. I got a 44-inch wide monitor ready to locked and loaded.
And what's Starfield?
I I don't know Starfield. That one I don't know.
I've heard the term, but
I don't know what he means by the deep dive on Starfield. I don't know what he means. Put it in chat.
Yeah, get back to us on that. All right, Andre, go ahead and check your deal out.
Yeah, I'm still.
I mean, it's a video game. I know it's a video game. I just don't know what he means by deep dive on it. I mean, because we really don't do deep dives on gaming on this channel. So,
Mark Cote, if I'm saying that right, says I was an extra on the latest Transformers movie. It was show, at least partially, shot in Montreal. I don't know what that's referring to.
No, it means that he was an extra in the Transformers movie, the new one. So he could probably see himself on screen. That's brilliant. Cool. Very cool.
Aaron Pipes says Mexican Iron Man. Excuse me.
Yes.
I thought those tactical courses taught you how to jump out windows without hurting your arm.
Okay,
and
you know
how
what?
to escape bed.
Okay, you know what? Okay, you know what, Aaron? I see what you're doing there. And hashtag believe all Mexicans and do not believe these false fake news stories that are going around about me.
Aaron, I've already got a stack of papers in this thing that says human resources, and nobody'd even deal with it. And they're all from Mike.
What?
They're all about Mike.
Yeah, but I since I'm in charge of human resources, I'm reviewing all of the complaints about Mexican Iron Man, and I'm taking them seriously and filing them away.
Yeah, in the shredder.
Yep. It's very important that you file stuff like that in the correct location.
Yeah. Gonzalo Bergali says, beautiful morning, isn't it? With that image, I got the name for Mike's YouTube show, Too White to Be Me.
Okay.
He's white supremacist now.
Sitcom.
I'm the brown face of white nationalism.
Yeah, you're white supreme.
Yeah. Didn't you guys hear about that?
Yeah. Indy Phantom sends in Canadian $5.50. Says, yeah, new Transformers was okay, but I miss the Bayhem and the Babes. I confess, I'm shallow, dude. Just trying to make it in this crazy new world. Well, luckily for you, there's like 7 movies already that are just like that.
Well, 5 of them are like that.
Oh, well, at least 5, yeah.
Yeah. And they destroyed the brand.
And then Indy Phantom also says, have enough scene points, CDN, to see the blockbusters this summer. Mostly I can be part of the conversation, but I miss the real diversity of genre that we once had. Man, we had it good in 99. Yeah, there was some good times back in the summer. Like somebody posted like a image from like 93 summer movies. And I'm like, that was a bad summer for movies, like in comparison to what we were getting in that time era. But now, like, it was movies like Sister Act and a couple other things. It's like you'd long for those days now. But yeah, I hear you, Indy Phantom. Bye Bye Hollywood says, I read an article today that the reason South African cinemas are struggling to come back is there's no movies of interest for the audience, bar Fast X. Well, there you go. At least it's doing well there. It's not doing so well here.
Yeah. Oh, and I figured out what ActionCom meant. I mean, of course, we have to go to the episode 250 and find it there in live.
Well, that's what I thought you were doing.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing it now.
Episode 255, he said it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Zax has been a member for 2 years. Congratulations and happy member chat birthday.
Appreciation Day.
That.
When are we gonna have another member stream?
Soon, because we're way overdue.
Yeah, soon. I'm not ready to prepare to commit to an exact date just yet.
Before the month end.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Like in a week or so.
And Susan wants to know how Sadie is doing and how about your car fixed or replaced. Well, Sadie is doing very well, actually. In fact, just a little bit ago, I checked on her stitches, and they're doing well. And as far as the car, though, not so much. I got another couple weeks to wait for the parts to come in and stuff, and get it in and get it fixed. So yes, the answer is getting it fixed, but it's going to be a bit yet.
And this is a recurring problem that many are like having to wait for their parts and stuff more than before.
Indeed. And then STR Red Wolf says, Tom, you should see The Truth in 24, a documentary about Audi's 2008 run of Le Mans. This will help you understand NASCAR's Garage's 56-year entry this year. You know what? I would probably fall asleep within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
No offense. Like I could watch like Ford versus Ferrari because it had Batman and Matt Damon in it and stuff, but like, you know, I don't know. This is getting into a documentary about racing is like you're asking me a lot. I've never been a car person.
I saw that documentary.
And
I enjoyed it thoroughly. I thought it was fucking amazing. But I'm not the biggest car guy, but I do.
Well.
One of the few 4Ks I do own in my library is Ford v Ferrari.
Well, maybe I'll try to check it out one of these days.
You'll get bored and fall asleep. I know you.
You know I would.
Yeah. You'll be sitting there. You'll get about 14, 15 minutes in. You'll be like, chips, soda. Yep. It'll go just like that.
Or isn't there something else on?
Exactly. Then you go back to watching South Park.
Oh, I even like that Gremlins cartoon. I quit 4th episode. I'm like, I can't do this shit no more. I just stopped watching it. Like, fuck this noise. Can't even talk about it. Don't even want to do a video on it. Nothing. Just it's too much. I don't have time for that kind of bullshit in my life. Tier says a company has a legal responsibility to the investors. How do you deal with investors that force policy and practices that undermine business? That's a good question.
Well, first, the employees are going to have to do something, or the investors are going to have to do something about that. I'm surprised they haven't already, but I'd love to hear what you guys think about it.
Culture, I bet you have an interesting take. Go first.
Well, here's the problem. I think most investors, if they understood what's happening and that they didn't realize that they weren't actually being delivered the fiduciary duty of the entity that they've invested their money with, I think that they would be up in arms and sue. I think some class action lawsuits would actually stop all of this. But moving on to the actual question, how do you deal with investors that force policy and practices that undermine the business? Again, it's the investors themselves have very little to do with it. It's whoever they entrust their money to. So when I look at this, it's clear. I mean, if you invest your money through BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, Mikey, help me out with all of these, Blackstone, when you're placing your money in the hands of people that are not going to use it as they should, which is ensure that you are, benefiting as a shareholder in each one of those companies that they're investing in, because they are not about maximizing the return for you anymore. They're not about increasing shareholder value, which they're legally required to do. So, I mean, if we had somebody with, I guess, the fortitude and, at a high administrative level in this country, that it would actually force them to enforce the law, which is what the executive branch is supposed to do of the government, by the way, we wouldn't be in this problem either way. So that the legal responsibility you're referring to, it's going to have to be enforced by the people who are investing with these giant firms to begin with. I don't know, Mikey, you probably have a different take.
Well, I don't know what kind of take I have, but it's what you said, sort of, but different. And this is what I'm going to say. Number one, 40 to 60% of all the capital that these woke assholes are using is coming out of the bank accounts of all of you in America, all of you listening on this live stream, listening on the replay, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that if you have pension fund, wherever your retirement fund accounts are, you need to watch that, just like you would care about in the olden days who your local school board president is, who your local council person is, who your local senator, assembly person, mayor is. It has gotten to that level. You've got to see who in the heck is in charge of guiding and managing your money, as well as boycotting, as well as possibly getting involved in shareholder lawsuits that hold these companies accountable for not delivering the results which they are obligated to deliver. It's that simple. It's our own gunpowder is being used against us, because in essence what's happened is the Middle Ages are back. We are now out there, instead of working the lands in England where we're just sharecropping on our lords' lands. They are now, our overlords are now using our investment funds and retirement funds and pension funds to create an oppressive environment to keep us oppressed and families divided and the culture divided. That's what's happening. It's our own gunpowder. Our own lands are being used against us. And until we stand up and take and care about where our pension funds are, where our investment funds are, where our 401k and retirement funds are, nothing's going to change. Because frankly, they only came up with this and launched this at the United Nations back in, I think it was 2003 or 2005. So it's taken only 20 years, 2 decades to flip things around. And the only way we're going to flip them back is if we take our money back, and that's the gunpowder they're using against us in this culture war.
Yeah. 6, anything else?
I think Mikey and culture pretty much summed it up. There's really nothing I could add.
Same here.
Well said.
Nerd Alert says, how would you describe Nickelodeon's downfall? Pitiful. That's how I describe it.
Meteoric.
Like they had the industry by the balls when it came to children's entertainment. Pardon my using of the phrase there, but they did. I mean, and they fell under hubris. They fell under Paramount. They fell under, some questionable people being involved with the network. They fell under the weight of themselves, I guess, at one point. They became obsolete after a while, too, because, competition came in and kind of like what is happening with some of these streaming services. A lot of the stuff that they used to show on Nickelodeon started getting their own channels. So then Nickelodeon had to start creating more and more of their own original content. And outside of like SpongeBob and a few random things, they don't often have a lot of hits. And then they bought things like Ninja Turtles and stuff like that. And it just hasn't really panned out for them. So they're kind of a case study in we're going through now with Disney and streaming, I guess, is a way to look at it. Anybody else have anything to add on Nickelodeon front?
I think I'm a little too old for the high point of Nickelodeon.
Possibly. I barely was in that region, so
you can't do that on television.
Like, yeah, I remember that kind of stuff. I remember, a few of the things. But
like I said, I mean, at a certain point, the people who start things, they just lose touch. You're gonna have a good swing at it, and you're gonna build it up, and then like anything, if something's just idling along or zipping along, you personally put yourself in idle if you're not motivated to go beyond, and that. I mean, a lot of companies and a lot of individuals fall into that. Okay, I've reached the level of success I was aiming for, and then they don't reset their goal, or they're not motivated, or again, they lose touch. Right now, I think, with Nickelodeon especially, it's just a combination of all those factors, and they didn't innovate anymore, to be fair.
Well, and actually, I've thought about doing a video on just this thing, like Valentine's 2 brought up here. MTV and Nick didn't work well for the same reasons, and the same people pretty much destroyed both.
Yeah.
They both got destroyed under Paramount, basically.
Well,
they had 2 of the biggest cable channels in history and destroyed them. Well, MTV was the first cable company to ever be profitable. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to point out, and this is for everybody in the audience, Paul Chato talks about this all the time. When you get acquired by somebody else, they have a different culture than you do, and they're going to try to impose your culture or their culture on the new thing they acquired. And that's the same thing that happened with Disney and everything else. If you leave these units alone, let them run the way they were, you're probably going to leave them to be somewhat successful, especially if you leave a lot of the institutional knowledge in place, which is the employees. But that's not what happens. And again, it's in support of what Tom's saying, but Paul says it all the time. When something like that happens, an acquisition or merger, somebody's culture is going to dominate, and it will destroy the original culture of the entity that you went out and got in the first place.
Yeah, Nickelodeon was actually technically a failure out the gate. It wasn't until they got a little bit more mainstream, because they started out with just a couple of original programming and like repeating Looney Tunes and stuff like that. And then they finally caught on when they started doing some other things. But yeah, the downfall is an interesting story, and it parallels MTV, actually. Andre, do you have anything to add to that? Or I know you're back.
Not as such, no, but I was able to find the prediction.
And
what I said there was that I think that Amber Heard is done, and bring this back when I'm proven right. So yeah, that wasn't entirely on the money, because she is making a comeback. But it should be noted, though, while she's making a comeback, she's making an indie comeback in a film festival no one's ever heard about before. So half right. I mean, not done with Hollywood. Don't see her done in Hollywood, but yeah, no, she's not completely done. And depending on how this turns out, she may have a career beyond OnlyFans, which is what we were joking about with the panel on that day. So yeah, that's episode 255 for those that want to see that clip and prediction on their own. It's in Midnight's Edge live archives in the playlist of streams number 1 to 400. And there
you go.
Right about in the middle is where you find 255.
And Lily Von Stoop wants to argue that YouTube helped kill MTV and Kids TV. The latter part is true as far as like, because Nickelodeon had, by the time YouTube had come around, it already had Boomerang, Cartoon Network, Disney, all the Fox Kids, all these other channels and stuff that were competing with it. MTV had already killed itself by the time YouTube came around. And here's an example of how. 20 years ago, when I was working at Movie Gallery, I was having a conversation with a mother who was renting some movies, and we were talking about how great MTV used to be then. And we said something, yeah, like when they actually played music videos, and her kid piped up and said, "What's a music video?"
Oh.
That tells you everything you need to know about how MTV destroyed themselves before YouTube was even a thing. Now, of course, yeah, now YouTube, you can go find every video you want, and YouTube is actually a part of the music, getting music out there and stuff the way MTV used to be. I won't argue with that, but at that time, I'd say they already killed themselves. Basically, right around the time Beavis and Butthead and all that stuff came around is when MTV decided we're going to start doing a bunch of other shows that have nothing to do with music. And I'm not saying Beavis and Butthead was a problem. I'm just saying that's the era, 92, 93. Then they started doing like The Real World, and what's the other ones they did? That traveling one, I can't remember now.
The Real World is what really destroyed the MTV. Yeah, that's what set them on the path of reality TV.
Yeah, it was
a straight through line to like that Kardashian type crap.
Yeah, and 16 and pregnant and what have you, and that's what they were done.
It was cheap. It was cheap, and they really fell off the wagon when it came to the music. And I think a lot of it came down to just how cheap it was. And again, music videos are basically commercials for you to buy music. So they were the network that had like the best thing ever. They were running commercials and then running commercials between the commercials. I mean, they were killing it.
Well, Road Rules, that's the other show I was trying to think of. And then it led straight to Jersey Shore. Exactly my point. And yeah, at least with Beavis and Butthead, but that was kind of like an era where at least Beavis and Butthead were watching videos, but I think that should have been a sign that, okay, now you have a show where it's actually commenting on what you are, right? It's commenting on the people that actually watch you. I think you've hit an impasse here. I don't know how to put it other than that, but yeah, sad time. But there's definitely a video documentary in there somewhere. Cryam says, now's the time I'm warning normie friends and family about The Flash. I won't watch, but also won't judge anyone who wants to, warning them to look up Ezra's past and make an informed decision. Well, Cryam, you may not have to try too hard, because from recent reports, it don't sound like The Flash is going to open up much better than Transformers did. And since Transformers opened up this bad, I don't know if The Flash is going to do very well. Because Transformers really didn't have much going against it other than, yeah, people are just kind of played out on that. But people's kids love Transformers, right? I said this yesterday. I don't think you heard this, though, Andre. I was talking to my dad this weekend, and movies came up, and I thought for sure I was waiting for it because he was a big fan of Michael Keaton in '89 Batman and Batman Returns. I was waiting for him to go, you know what? I want to go see that new Flash movie or the new Batman movie. I was waiting for him to say. No, you know what he says to me? He goes, oh, I want to go see that new Indiana Jones movie.
Oh.
I'm like, did you even see the fucking last one? He's like, oh, I'm pretty sure I did. All right, or whatever. I'm like, the one with the skulls and his kid and the aliens? Like, oh, maybe I didn't. So, I don't... At this point, I'm like, what? Even if my dad's not interested in seeing Michael Keaton play Batman, that's not good.
See, this is what I've been saying the whole time, that I don't know how big a draw that is. I mean, it's a very big draw on those of us who were going to see the movie anyway. What I don't know is how many weren't going to see the movie anyway will be drawn in by Keaton being in it. I don't know how big a crowd.
And the thing with Indy is, like, my dad would have been, you know, deep into his working life and all that kind of shit when the last one came out. He's retired now. So when he sees Indiana Jones running around on TV, well, he can relate to that because he's retired. You know what I mean? Like, I can see him wanting to see that. But I'm just kind of surprised he didn't say, "Oh, I want to go see the Batman one." But I mean, because he's usually not.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
So far, there's 3 other people in the theater with me to see The Flash on Thursday.
Ooh, that's not good because that comes out this week. It's not like it's 2 weeks out. This is this week. This is just a couple days away.
I still, like I said, I don't even have an interest in the film. And again, I mean, obviously that was probably initially sparked by Ezra, but I'm tired of giving these companies money. I mean, it's just, you make terrible things. If you make good things, I'll see them. If you make terrible things, why am I being bothered other than to protect other people from doing it? That's it.
But how do you know?
God, you don't have a love for cinema culture.
What were you gonna say, Six?
I think he does.
I don't believe it. He's breaking my heart right now. I'm gonna go see how many people are gonna be in my theater on Thursday. Let me see. Culture's breaking my heart. He's destroying myself. He's bringing sadness to my heart.
I don't even really want to go see this. I'm more or less going to see it out of obligation.
I'm trying to bully you into it.
Kind of. Kareen says the smart girl trope has been prominent in media since the 70s. The jokes were stupid. Yes. I'm not sure when you were broadening this. I'm not sure what we were referring to. Oh, I know we were talking about. Okay. Vincent De Leon says, I watch Aliens usually monthly. So one of my favorite sci-fi flicks of all time. So we were talking about.
Well, that is some commitment
Wham
there.
and Power
But
stuff.
but I commend you. It's brilliant movie.
Oh my God.
Becky, look at her butt.
How many people?
Like big.
Oh my God.
What are we talking about, Mike?
I think Monkey was looking at his theater.
And
Holy shit, that's bad.
Here's the scary part. I have I'm holding 2 passes that I got from the assistant manager at this place for this that I got last week. No, I think those are my seats. The 2 passes that I have from email. Oh,
and
no.
This is the top of the line theater, isn't it? This IMAX and the.
Well, this is a small theater, obviously.
Disaster. This one is not an IMAX. The 3 o'clock that I'm seeing is not IMAX. This is
okay.
But it's the theater that everybody goes to when something opens that's here on the island. Oh no.
I think that those predictions that this movie is going to open to 60 million, they may have been on the mark.
I'm thinking if Transformers did 60, it's going to be more like 50.
You know what? I'm going to do something because I said that tomorrow there's a pre-screening of The Flash in Oslo. The pre-screening. Let's just see for shits and giggles how many seats are sold. And this is the IMAX screening in Oslo tomorrow. Let's...
I'm going to bring up the IMAX myself. I'm going to do the IMAX myself.
The theater that I go to, which I would be seeing this film in on Thursday.
Okay, here we go. 3 o'clock IMAX.
And that's for me, a 3 o'clock show. There are 4 seats or 6 seats sold. And this is it's an enormous theater.
Well, this one's better. Well,
the Oslo one, that's like 2/3 sold out. So that actually ain't too bad. That's pretty decent.
Oh, I got one that's worse for you.
What?
This is Madison. IMAX. First showing. That ain't shit.
Wow.
Oh, snap. That's Madison, Wisconsin. That's a real city.
That's the capital of Wisconsin.
Andre, I think this movie's screwed.
This movie's fucked.
I think, well, judging from the Oslo results, it's the international.
It'll do better overseas, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to see if I can share.
So Culture is right, and I was wrong, and Culture is right to destroy my poor little DC comic heart.
Well, in the theater I was describing, there's 500 seats in the theater, and there are 6 seats sold in an entire theater.
The second largest city in my state 7 o'clock show, IMAX. There's 8 seats sold.
Yeah,
Friday
I should
night.
let me look at the primetime show here. That's a good idea, 6. Let me see that. Yeah, because that's in the middle of the afternoon.
The same.
So the 6:45 show.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm waiting for it to load. Not much better. Little bit better, but not much better.
The same 6 seats are sold in the same locations for the 350 show, which is the theater next door to it. Then for the 445 show, the same 6 seats are sold in the theater. The same 6 seats. The same. You think there's a pattern to that?
I saw that when they
well, if it's an
Captain
IMAX,
Marvel...
it's the best seats in the house. That's why. Sorry.
But why 6?
No, but why 6? I remember that shit happening at the Captain Marvel.
What we're seeing now, or should be seeing now, is the Oslo. This is the pre-screening tomorrow in Oslo, so IMAX screen. The gray ones here, these are available. No, and all of these ones are taken. So basically, like 2/3 sold. That's not too bad. This is the pre-screening. Let's just, for shits and giggles, see on the regular ones.
And what showtime is that, Andre?
That's tomorrow, Tuesday at 6 p.m. local
That should be
time.
sold out.
I don't know about that. Like a pre-screening
It's
in
Oslo.
IMAX, I would not expect that to be sold out. I would expect it to be like 2/3 sold, or like 4/5 sold out, and it actually is. So yeah, that's a good time. But this is the one pre-screening. Like the hardcore fans, they're the ones who will be watching it in this particular screening. Can't go back from here because it's open like a new window. Let's look at the Wednesday when there's like more options. Let's have a look at that. If we then go and see again the IMAX at a decent time when it should be reasonably full, we can check out IMAX at 5:45 on the Wednesday. I may have to share it again because it opened like a new window here.
I think we're on the right one. No, you were on the right one.
I was?
You were on the right. You were.
Yeah, I were, and then it disappeared. Okay.
Yeah, you were, and then it disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a sharing for you. Don't always work, but I'll fix it right away. And then I'm just going to go back again.
This is why Andre doesn't do this kind of stuff normally.
Exactly. Did it come back now?
Yes, we're back there now. Not very many seats sold, it looks like.
Yeah, no. Again, this is the regular. It seems that everyone that wanted to see it is going to see it in the pre-screening, because this is the same IMAX theater. And what we see right here, these ones, they're sold out, just like this row right here in the middle. And then some of the special seats, but everything else is fully available. So it's not going to be any difficult at all to see this movie. Everyone that wants to see it is going to see it in the Tuesday advanced screening. But still, just based on what you're seeing and what I'm seeing, if I were to extrapolate anything from that, it would be that this one is going to reverse the trend of the Little Mermaid and may do better internationally than domestically.
I'm just breaking news here, saying that every single showing of the film The Flash in the theaters that I would normally go to, and this is just a digital digital screening.
Right.
The same 6 seats are sold in every single auditorium for every single show.
Not
only that, okay. There are only seats that are sold so far that I can call legitimate, because that pattern is unlikely to be anything other than pre-purchased seats by the studio or some other entity. I would say that there's only one show where 4 legitimate people are in the theater. 4, and that's
we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I know one place overseas this is not going to play well, Andre. Iceland.
I can think.
Learn it? Did you want to fight? Is that the deal?
And any place else he was at.
Germany, he was there too.
And yeah.
This is unbelievable.
We'll have to see how this rolls. Time is Fire says, I put an alert for the ESG video, but didn't get it shadow banned. Well, I'm starting to think so.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Because it's It is lagging quite considerably, and when I look at other videos, compatible videos from compatible topics of the same channel, it could be that the thumbnail is like too off-putting or something. I don't know, or like too different from the others. But for whatever reason, this video isn't performing like others on the topic that have been posted later and is doing more. So I do believe that this video may be under some kind of suppression, maybe. And the only way to get by that is by you guys sharing it on Twitter, sharing it on Facebook, sharing on YouTube. That's the only way to spread the message if this platform ain't recommending it. And as what was said right here, if you asked for an alert and you didn't get one, that's not a good sign. So yeah, that's why we ask for help in sharing them. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And I do believe that the information in this video is exactly the kind of video that people need to know.
Yeah, and then we got this just sent to me here from Quantrina VR. It says first pick HD first showing, and second is the basic first showing that starts 20 minutes later. This is Shreveport, the largest city in Louisiana, and the theater where I go. Okay, so here's the first showing he was talking about, and then nobody is going to the next one so far. Jeez, not a single seat sold. Wow. Well, that's not looking good, kids. That's not looking good at all. I wonder how Elemental's doing. I didn't even bother looking at that. Jesus Davila has been a member for 19 months and sends us a thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. Please do. And we appreciate that, Jesus. We got Seth for $10. He says, saw Spider-Verse, loved it, but Jessica Drew bothered me more than I expected. She was 7 months pregnant for 4 months. Should have taken a desk job and let any other spider person do field work. Oh, don't even let me get started on this one. I didn't see the movie anyway, so I'm not going to comment on this. But I'm glad you liked it, Seth. Nobody's going to touch that one.
Dude, I'm so sick of hearing about this freaking movie.
Snakes and Funerals says ESG, so that's why Wells Fargo ATM has to show me a picture of multiracial gay couple embracing when I get that $40. Yes,
that's why.
Exactly why. Doug 1985 says 6, start a YouTube channel. She has one, but she
I have
done
one.
no videos.
Has no content.
That's
I don't have time. I'm busy here.
But we have a Congo video now, at least.
Yeah, I finally bullied you into that.
You did.
Stop eating my sesame cake. Stop eating my sesame cake!
I like the other one.
Well, that one's funnier, though.
Okay.
You mean the Amy one?
Yeah.
Amy wants green drop drink.
That one?
Yeah. I love animals. So.
Amy. She's not real, though. She's
I know.
animatronic. Daryl Brewer has been a member for 22 months and says, hello from the road. Currently traveling through Tennessee, heading back to Arizona, I believe. Have a good one and keep up the excellent work. Well, thank you, Daryl. We appreciate that. Hopefully the heat's not getting to you. Doug in 1985 has another one here. Says, do y'all think John Campea and Grace Randolph will team up like Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy? Who can take him out, though? I only have one idea. I'll take him out.
Fat Tom.
That's right. And Mexican Iron Man can team up with me.
Yep.
It will be a crossover event.
We'll bet. We won't even need to engage in an actual battle. We'll just have to use. We'll just have to use basic logic.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think that the two of them, they are never going to work together. Not after she accused him of being a chill and he called her a psycho.
Oh,
yes,
I missed this.
Oh, yeah, this happened a while ago. Yeah, he even did a video about her.
Oh, wow, I missed that because I was probably not paying attention to either of them. Lassamarian says, where is Anheuser-Busch getting its ESG coercion? I think that's the word he means. Vanguard and BlackRock aren't among their top shareholders.
I can answer that. Who owns Anheuser-Busch?
AB InBev.
How did they get the money to buy Anheuser-Busch?
Credit.
I don't know.
Drag
There's
queen
your
pizza?
answer. They don't have to be on the owner's side. All they have to be is, like, this is what I said earlier in the stream. They don't have to force them to go broke to buy them. All they have to,
control the lending.
is to have them be beholden to them, and you can do that by lending out money to InBev to buy a company like Anheuser-Busch to become AB InBev. It's all that's required.
Yeah. Yep. And that's why I'm not so worried about it, because when this credit deal starts hitting people, I know I'm fucked, but I don't have credit now. So I just have to start worrying when they won't let me buy things like bread. You think I'm kidding?
That'll never happen. You'll get universal basic income before then.
Yeah.
I'll send you some bread.
All right.
Vegan bread.
No! Holy cow, Dick Clark Productions bought Golden Globes, Tom Siebert brought up and said, so that's Penske Media too, which already owns THR, Variety, Rolling Stone, Deadline, etc. The reason I started this, and I see Culture's head and nod in there, there's a reason for it, and that is it's all run by the same people. Isn't that right, Culture?
Yeah, and that's a real shame. Penske Media is kind of very corrupt, and this is not good news for anybody out there. And again, I mean, you know, how many of these media outlets do you need to control in a given industry? Well, the answer is there. You need control of the industry, and they are the mouthpieces for the industry. There's nothing that goes out on paper that Penske Media doesn't control when it comes to the trades. And that's just the way it is. The only independent left is run by Sharon Waxman, and she's a complete nut job over at the Wrap. So anyway,
Christ, we're almost better underneath what's his face, Hearst.
So are you saying that Ricky Gervais ain't gonna be invited back to the Golden Globes?
Not likely. Maybe.
Pretty sure. Penske's pretty corrupted at this point. So there you are.
They own all this shit now, basically.
Yeah.
Grand Inquisitor says Depp won't return as Captain Jack Sparrow. It would be hilarious if Disney cast Amber Heard as his ex-wife and a female lead Pirates. Yeah, that would be quite the
Disney doesn't have
shit-stirring situation. I don't know about this Johnny Depp story, if it's true or not. I've been hearing about it. What's the source on this? I haven't actually read it.
I don't know. I haven't.
The story was going around that they offered Johnny a truckload of money to come back, and he said no.
Yeah, 20 million. I think the amount was. Needs to be 30. But anyway, yeah, I've heard we've heard this joke before. It would be amazing if the next Pirates of the Caribbean movie is Jack Sparrow versus the bitch from Atlantis. I mean, you want to sell tickets? That's the way to do it. Because an Amber lookalike as that bitch from Atlantis.
Look out! She's got into the wine. Yeah, if somebody can point to the source on that, I'd like to know, because I'm not so sure he would say no. Yeah.
I think that he would. Then I don't think it's a money issue. Then I would think it's more a matter of there are other things that he would want to make sure that it's not going to be compromised. Yeah. He said that he's never going to return under any circumstance. I don't believe that. He has like a Jack Sparrow tattoo and everything. I don't think that he would do that to all of his other friends who are involved in those productions and all the people that. Well, now of course now Bob Iger is back again, and he would have been fired under Iger's watch. That's an issue.
That is a good point, because we were bringing up before is that one thing going for Disney now, unlike it was before, is that Bob Iger and a lot of the people that were involved in his ousting or bad mouthing at the time, because that was the beauty of it. They fired him from a movie they weren't even making.
Yeah. But it happened under Iger's watch. This is like one of the things that I said at the time when I expressed belief, and I did this is actually in the same stream where my prediction for Amber Heard wasn't entirely on the money. In the same stream, I actually go and say that, oh yeah, I think you'll absolutely be back for Pirates of the Caribbean Part 6. And part of my reasoning was that Bob Iger ain't there anymore. And he wasn't at the time. It was Bob Chapek. And with Bob Iger gone, that was the administration that publicly humiliated Depp gone in the first place. It's going to be much more difficult for Depp to accept coming back to another Pirates now that Iger is back again, because it was under Iger and with Iger's approval that he was shit can in the first place.
I'm just going to say this. I mean, the multiple different outlets reported the same thing. Their source is suspect, and you have Daily Mail out there. You have a few of these others like Meow and all.
Yeah, Six sent me this one here, and it's just saying a friend.
Yeah, I mean, take it with a grain of salt times 1,000, because
I believe that he's got no interest in Hollywood bit. That part I can believe, but like Andre's got a point.
Yeah. The Daily Mail, they've gotten some good scoops.
What was that, Six?
He's a rock and roll star now.
Well, he kind of always was. That's the thing. He's never really needed Hollywood in the first place. That's the thing, is he's never really done anything. Every time Hollywood tried to make him a star, it didn't work out. And the one time they really didn't plan on it with Pirates of the Caribbean is the one time where it happened. And he's not had anything since. And I love Johnny Depp. I have loved Johnny Depp's work since way back on 21 Jump Street, Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, I got introduced to him way back as a kid. So, like, I was watching his shit all through the years, and I'm like, sooner or later, people will realize this guy can act. All through his stuff on Benny and June, Edward Scissorhands, all that stuff. Edward Scissorhands is probably the only thing he had as arguably as a success prior to Pirates of the Caribbean. Otherwise, a lot of his stuff is so low level. Like, a lot of it, even movies like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, that people think, no, that movie flopped when it came out. It became a cult hit later on. So, like, yeah, he don't need Hollywood, but I think he wants to come back eventually. I just think it's going to take a price and possibly some apologies from the right people, perhaps.
I don't know that under Iger it's going to happen.
Exactly, that's a problem.
But I think that Bob Iger is a big issue there.
Donnie Brasco was one for him that did well, but again, it wasn't another movie that did. You guys are bringing up movies that were great, but they didn't blow the box office doors off of anything, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Is like he was never this big box office draw. Like, at best, his movies would do well. Ed Wood was probably his most successful film otherwise, like maybe Sleepy Hollow financially. But even movies like What's Eating Gilbert Grape, which people remember it mainly because of the Oscars and everything it got nominated for. The movie flopped in theaters, So I loved Johnny Depp, but it's just the truth. Crybaby also was another flop. That was actually John Waters' one of his few studio films, and it did not do well. And Johnny Depp was in every teen magazine at that time, too. 200 Watt Studio says she crapped the bed. Now she has to sleep in it. Well, that's one way of looking at it. I guess that's Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She crapped the street too, only in Spain.
That's according to that video we saw. A Tipping Barn says, Tom, wondering about getting a 4K TV. Is it actually worth it for a non-cinephile? Well,
heck yeah.
It depends on what you do, but I understand the question. It's a good question.
If you're just going to watch a cable TV box on it, hell no.
Yeah, if you're just doing a lot of streaming and you're just watching some cable and you don't watch a lot of movies or gaming, probably not.
But if you watch movies...
what I have found to be true with 4K is that what TV will you be getting? Because what I've noticed is, like, my first 4K TV, that was an amazing TV. It was from 2014. It did not have HDR, but what it did have was just 4K, and it had fantastic internal upscaling, so that even standard definition content looked good on it. One of the biggest mistakes I ever made was to sell that TV when I upgraded before completely checking out the limitations of my new TV, which in theory should have been better. It wasn't. The new TV was better because it had HDR, so it was better for 4K content. But for regular HD content, 1080p, and say nothing of standard definition content, that thing freaking sucks, and it's a top of the line TV.
Yeah.
1080p content. Most of my DVD Blu-rays, they suddenly look worse than before on a.
Well, it's because you're seeing all the flaws you wouldn't have seen before. Because, and again, we only weren't seeing them before because of the processing, which is, you know, a give or take kind of thing. And in your case, for that kind of a situation, where if it was something that was a lesser quality, you had a choice to watch it on a better screen. That's understandable.
Yeah,
that's another thing you got to ask yourself: what kind of movies are you watching? Are you somebody who watches a lot more modern fare, or do you enjoy classic films? If you're somebody who enjoys classic films, then it might be worth investing in a 4K TV and a 4K player and a bunch of movies, because that is the best way to view classic films made pre 2010. Basically, up until they stopped using film. Once they start using film, most of that stuff's all mastered in 2K. So in my experience, most newer films look muddy and washed out compared to classic films because they're being upconverted from a 2K source.
Exactly. So, and also, like, for instance, do you like your standard definition content, meaning like 480p? If you do, if you have a ton of that, be ready for that. That's going to look like shit on your.
Unless you have something TV to process it with, like you did with your older TV. Like
that's exactly. Like my older TV was fantastic, and I regret getting rid of it.
See, now I have a Sony player that actually upconverts DVDs and Blu-rays quite nicely for 4K. Now it's not perfect, but there's some DVDs that I put in there that I would be like hard pressed to figure out if it was DVD or Blu-ray. So that means it upconverted it well enough without carrying over the anomalies and problems that you normally would have. Because that's usually what you have is an issue with a lot of older media was created and it's got lines of resolution as opposed to pixels. So this is something for 4K for you. Definitely you should check out when we get on there. This is definitely a better conversation for that show because it'll take us a while to get into it, and Valiant also can help out. But like when it comes to resolution and all that stuff, if you're a non-cinephile and you're just watching stuff on streaming and stuff like that and regular television, like Mikey said, I wouldn't worry too much about it.
And as for my next thing, I'm getting a projector where I can like very subtly soften the image, meaning it's going to look good across the board.
Well, and then a lot of projectors now are one of the few places you can go to still do 3D, which that's the thing. I've got still like a couple hundred titles in 3D yet. That's why I have a whole nother TV set up for that. But yeah, it's one of those things. But at the end of the day, most TVs now that are produced are at least 4K and beyond. So you might as well just wait until you need to get a TV, I guess is a better way to get it. Because like by that time, you're gonna be stuck buying a 4K TV no matter what.
Yeah.
I watch movies on my phone.
Six still watches movies on her phone. So
Stanley Kubrick thanks you.
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick's like, fuck you. No.
Whereas others are more with the times. Like for instance, our good friend Gary J. Tunnicliffe, he directed Hellraiser Judgment, knowing full well that a very big chunk of the audience would be watching it on their mobiles and their tablets. So he filmed it knowing that, okay, this is going to look good at a big screen TV, but it's also going to look good. You're not going to miss out on anything major, even if you watch it on your phone. So that's just being with the times.
Well, and that's why a lot of directors started filming things in open matte.
Yeah, exactly, because they were with the times at the times. It's just that the times didn't age well.
And they knew that eventually that it was going to be on TV and video more so than it was good. Like that's the whole Kubrick point.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bad News Badger sends in 100 Danish krona. Says, isn't the real problem with woke more that even if you do a movie 100% woke in every way, woke people will still hate it for not being woke enough and then expect those not woke in the magically to love it? Maybe, but I think we've already had a test to this. I think if you take the woke too far, even the woke go, whoa, 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 whoa. Velma, I think is what...
Yeah.
We have the woke spectrum. You have Ghostbusters 2016 where it starts. Velma's at the edge where even the woke people are like, okay, stop. That's enough.
Jump the shark.
You jumped the shark, exactly, or nuked the fridge. So that's my guess on that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you even have a situation where like something like Spider-Verse is probably the perfect medium between both, to where it's woke enough, but it's not so woke in your face that plenty of people enjoy it for what it is. So, and that's the nicest thing I'm gonna ever say about that movie. So you better relish it.
Yeah.
Captain Palsy's in the house. How you doing, Captain Palsy? I haven't seen you in a bit. Hopefully you're doing well. I would handyman out the window. Well, of course, but you know, do you have a chair?
Why are we talking about any windows at all? There's no windows.
Well, Captain Palsy has cerebral palsy, so he has to actually handyman out the window. You remember the show in Living Color?
Sorry, I'm a little triggered by that little that comedy. That hilarious comedy bit earlier. I'm still trying.
You could not do handyman now at all. Never underestimate the power of the handicap.
Well, okay. I do believe that Mike never could do handyman. It's not his job. For sure. He
you don't remember Handyman?
No.
I am convinced that Blank Man started as a handyman movie because they are so similar in tone and in the type of way they dress and everything like that. I am almost convinced that was like the point. And then they're like, you cannot do this as a movie. Handyman was a skit on In Living Color where Damon Wayans played a handicapped individual who was a superhero.
It was great.
Oh, I thought you meant handyman, like wear a tool belt while you're
No.
I'm
pretty sure that's what Captain Palsy meant.
Just grab your underwear and say you're working on the window.
See, and some people are saying it was originally. I have never looked into it, but I'm willing to bet. And Sony turned around and said, yeah, no, you can't do this as a movie. If you can come up with something similar, we'll do it. And that's where Blank Man came in, but I wouldn't be surprised. Snail Messiah says, I am a volunteer at this year's Copenhagen. What the hell is that?
Yeah.
18
Music
hours
festival.
work, 4-day free pass. Okay. Guns N' Roses are playing this year. Are they really Guns N' Roses?
Actually, yeah. But there was a time when Guns N' Roses was really the Axl Rose band. But hasn't he like reunited with like Slash and some
Slash
of the,
is there. Izzy was there for a while, but I think Izzy left again over Slash's bullshit last I heard. That's the thing. I have fallen. Like, where's Nick? Is Nick in the chat? He would probably know.
Oh, let's see here. Who's there? They're actually
doesn't change the fact that Axl can't fucking sing.
Slash is the only one who looks the same because his hair hasn't come in his face for the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah, because he quit doing drugs like 20 years ago, I think it was. Yeah.
And then it's like, is he there?
He was, but last I heard, him and Axl got into it again.
No, wait. Okay, right. It says right here, and it says in
Duff
Danish.
is there. Yeah.
So, because here on the Copenhagen website, they describe the lineup as Axl Rose, Duff McKagan, Slash, Dizzy Reed, and then it's Richard Fortus, Frank Ferrier, and Melissa Reese. So the original is Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose, Duff McKagan, and Dizzy. You know what? To me, that's enough to accept this as real Guns N' Roses. Fuck, I'd love to go there then.
I hear you, but my only problem is Axl just doesn't sound good anymore.
No, I'm not disputing that.
Culture has to go. He has to abandon.
Yeah, Culture has to leave. Do we have anything for Culture in the super chats? I don't.
No, but so much metal, so little time just to finish that one.
Yes, thank you, Six. So Culture, check out his channel. You got anything coming up today? You want to plug it all?
Well, let's see. I had the 6-minute daily earlier. I released 2 videos so far, maybe a third later, or perhaps tomorrow early morning. And we're just going to keep trudging along here. Campaign's moving towards 10K subscribers. We're getting very, very close to my, growing my little channel to be a little less little. That's weird. And I just want to say thanks for having me as usual. I had a lot of fun. You guys are great. Appreciate it.
Culture, did I see that the Tuesday tirade is coming back tomorrow?
It is. Tomorrow is the Tuesday tirade.
Yeah. You should have let me know sooner. Now I got to prepare. I got to wax.
How do you do that at the same time that you're doing the Mr. H show?
No, the Mr. H show on Tuesdays is later start, right? Than
is he back yet from his
we start again back up.
He finished in second place. The guy's ripped.
Nice.
I
saw his pictures.
Yeah.
He's
jacked. He made me question my sexuality, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
He's quite veiny.
Bye. I'll see you all later.
He's all the things I imagine Culture isn't. No, I'm just kidding. Take care, Culture.
Well, Culture, thanks for joining us, even though he left and insulted there. But
he's all right. He'll get over it.
But no, Mr. H, he did amazing. So congrats to him. He ended up in number 2 place in his bodybuilding competition, and that is pretty amazing and well earned because he really struggled and he worked hard to get there, and he did it. So kudos to him. And those pictures are pretty amazing.
Yeah, he was basically, I think, training full-time while doing the YouTube channel and everything. So
yeah he did full-time professional training makeup, and to compete at the professional bodybuilder level. I mean, that is some commitment. Like, for instance, most of us, we can work all day and then we can go back and we can eat, we can relax, we can have our pizza, we can have a cola. But you can't do that. No, he has to starve himself. He has to go and feel hungry 24 hours a day for 3 months while working out and while working.
Mm-hmm.
So
his back was constantly sore too. That's one thing I remember.
Yeah.
I think we should make Tom do that.
No, I'm gonna probably,
unfortunately. Tom could do well. Probably so.
I just need to get better shape. I don't need to be in that much good a shape, but anyway,
if you tried, you'd get it. You'd get in better shape pretty fast.
Snail Messiah has been a member for 25 months. Thank you so much. Perverted Jester says, way off topic. What is the point of St. Elmo's Fire as a movie? I watched it twice and can't see any point.
I love that movie. That's totally my generation.
It's a Brat Pack film.
Yeah.
It is not one of the better Brat Pack films, but I do get where 6 is coming from, but I do understand where you're saying Perverted Jester, because it doesn't have much of a plot to it. It is very much a big chill for the next generation, basically, was what they were kind of trying to do.
I remember Demi Moore was a hot mess in that movie.
Yeah, and she's not wearing any underwear either. You can tell.
I didn't know that.
The shot where she gets in the Jeep.
I have honestly never seen that movie. I need to add that.
I gotta look.
Have you ever seen The Big Chill?
No.
Okay. Well,
I've heard the song St. Elmo's Fire, but I never saw the movie.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a movie about a bunch of college friends that get back together for whatever reason and just hang out.
Why is it called St. Elmo's Fire? What does it have to do?
That was the name of the bar they used to hang out at.
Oh, so it has nothing to do with actual St. Elmo's Fire.
No.
That would be cool if it did.
The song is good.
Yeah.
I can be your man in
bar.
motion.
That's actually really disappointing. I thought it would involve actual St.
Elmo's Fire.
Yeah, exactly. For those that do not know, like St. Elmo's Fire, I don't think it's to this day completely understood. It's some kind of like plasma discharge that you typically see at sea, where suddenly like your mast like looks like it's on blue fire. It used to scare the shit out of like sailors way back in the olden days.
Yeah, and honestly, even after you told that, I can't even think of any kind of analogy in the movie offhand, but I haven't seen the movie in like 20 years.
No, if the bar is called St. Elmo's Fire, that's enough.
I mean, it really is just basically a night or so in the life of these young folks who get back together in the, loves and lost loves and all that kind of business.
Ball lightning, says Fatty in the comments. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Just kind of a slice of life kind of movie.
Yeah, okay. So it's like a shittier Fast Times at Richmond High then?
No, like I said, it's trying to think of another movie besides The Big Chill to compare it to. Because like even movies like Breakfast Club are kind of in that same vein, but not exactly. It's not. Even Breakfast Club has more of a plot, basically. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You probably wouldn't enjoy it. Yeah. But no, I'm with 6. I enjoyed it back in the day for what it was. I mean, it's one of those kind of movies. It's a post-high school kind of film.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in decades. It's not something I would watch today.
Bamagrad says, Tom, a small treats and goodies box for Hugh and Sadie should be ready for pickup today at the post office. Oh, well, excellent. My dad should hopefully drop that off at some point. Sadie's been getting all kinds of treats and goodies. She's been spoiled. And she needs to be because she hates to be in that cone.
How many likes do we have?
I don't know. What do you got?
Not enough.
Not enough.
Everyone
We got over
smash that like
1K.
for Sadie.
Keep hitting the like button. She had a bunch of treats this morning. I spoiled her this morning because Dad was in bed most of the night, so I felt bad for her. So Pilgrim Media says, I took a deep dive into MTV for 10 years. Oh, yeah. I mean, you just watched it for 10 years and then you quit, or you took a deep dive into the history of it? Mike Leparco says, I blame Sarnoff and Hamada. Well, those are good places to start. They don't accept all that. They can't accept all the blame. I mean, you've got, as far as Warner Brothers go, like, what's his face? Toby Emmerich was one that, why was he in charge of that studio for so long? When one of the guys there now, Mike DeLuca, should have been in his place. But anyway, that's it's who you know, basically. Accident Seller says, Reef the Flash. Gore says there are nice butt shots of both Wonder Woman and Supergirl. I'll have to verify that for myself. Well, maybe they brought in Joss Whedon to shoot those scenes. Because I've also heard there's butt shots of Ezra Miller.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, you get to see him fully naked from what I heard, except for his wang.
I don't want that.
Jesus Davila sends another super sticker and says thumbs up, I bet. Thank you so much. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. Investigative Examiners says, about the start a Twitter rush on your latest video. Just sent it to Lindsay. Keep up the good work. Oh, excellent.
Oh, brilliant.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nick Allen says, Six always seems so chill. Like someone I could hang out with. Neither really has to say a thing. More Six on Midnight's Edge in the morning. A calming voice is always nice. Well, yeah, she's always welcome.
Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. I have a little story about how not chill I am. When I was in
don't
college,
get in a disagreement with her.
when I was in college, I struggled. I worked my ass off. I had terrible anxiety, and I had multiple professors tell me they thought I might have a learning disability. But I was an A student, so I went to the doctor and asked for a referral to be tested for learning disability, so I could, have extra. There's, some assistive things that schools can do for people with learning disabilities. And after talking with my doctor for a while, she said, I don't think you have a learning disability. I just think you're high strung. And I thought, well, thanks, doc. So
interesting. But yes, with that, we are all caught up, and we are thankful because Six helps us with that and keeps us on point. If she wouldn't be here, we'd be here for like 5 hours on some days. I'm sure of it. Since I wasn't feeling good, I want to really thank Mike and Six for coming through and all the mods for their extra help today. Thank you so much. And other than that, Andre, we got anything coming up? I know we got Toxic Femme later on tonight, I believe.
Yeah, we have Toxic Femininity. There's going to be more scripted videos as soon as I get around to writing them. In the meantime, do check out the video that we dropped earlier today on ESG as it pertains to Call of Duty, because that video is being suppressed to high heavens, and the absolutely only way to bypass that is by you guys helping to share it on YouTube, share it on Twitter, and especially share it on Facebook. That's the only way, because it's in a rut and it's stuck and it's not going anywhere until it gets shared, because maybe it was the code word, maybe something picked up, maybe it didn't like the Bespin clips, but something in it is triggering the YouTube share functionality there. So yeah, do help share.
And I just want to say, as someone who's been with Call of Duty since the beginning, I put on my Twitter, I'm done with them. They can go F themselves. I am so deep into Call of Duty. My history with Call of Duty goes so far back that in 2005, 6, and 7, for those 3 years in a row, actually through 2008, for 4 years, we did live LAN parties. Fiber optic, we were the first ones in Northern California and Silicon Valley to do so. We did Halo, we did Call of Duty, we did early Battlefield. And I mean, it's been with me for 2 decades, but that relationship ends here and now. Thanks for your great video, though. Go watch the video, everybody.
Yeah, please do. And with that, also would like to say thanks to everyone who joined us today. Thank you, Mike and Six, who were here the whole time. But also, of course, thanks to Culture Casino, Mr. Chato, and Chris Gore. Go and check everyone out. The link is in the description. And with that, make sure to come back for Toxic Femininity later on. I do believe that the magnificent Mandy Summers will be making an appearance tonight.
Nice.
So then you don't want to miss out on that. And with that, it is time for some. Is that time enough, Tom? Koalas in the rain.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given. Koala, koala, koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given. Koala, koala.